this situation, I've been kind of following this. I follow a lot of different subjects. I follow a lot of different people. Everybody tap the screen because we kind of gonna go in a little deep tonight. So we all know CK. We're just gonna say CK because there's like some type of censorship going on around CK. If you don't know who CK is, don't ask in the comments. You just don't know. I guess you need to go find another conversation to be a part of. But we all know that Candace was real close to CK. All right, she kind of started up with him, right? Because of him. Now, we all know what happened. The situation, what happened. His neck injury. We saw that. Everybody saw that. Everybody was discussing that, or whatever the case is. And Candace is now going on this crazy campaign to say that the situation with CK is a conspiracy from Israel, and they're to be blamed for his demise. I will say they're to be blamed for his demise. And I want to say this because I find a lot of people be bringing up different clips and talking about, if you come up, you got to mute so there's no black background noise. A lot of people be bringing up different cases about Candace. I keep seeing stuff, especially on Twitter. It's a big thing on Twitter. I keep seeing this stuff, right? And they're all like, "Oh, she right. Oh, she's so deep. She's so deep. She's so deep." And I want this to be known. Candace has been grifting her entire career. She's been grifting her entire career ever since she was. Sorry, I had a call. Ever since she was from Turning Point. Ever since she was from went from Turning Point to Prager to then the Daily Wire. It was black people, black culture. Juneteenth is degenerate, black on black violence. We don't deserve reparations, all of that stuff. Then she fell out with Ben Shapiro, and now it's all this. Everything is about Israel, 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 Israel. Okay, that's the only content she makes now. Now every single thing. Oh, and then talking about I guess some French. The French minister's wife is a man or something like that. So then something like that. Okay. So it's this grift. And I feel like a lot of people in the community keep trying to give her a pass and keep trying to give her a leeway and make it seem as if she's more intelligent than she really is. She's deeper than she really is. She's more plugged in than she really is. She's not. She's an opportunist who is literally going to say whatever she feels like her audience, which is mostly a bunch of alt-right people, is going to say. That's what she is. Now, what's interesting about the conspiracy, because the CK, he did have some criticisms for Benjamin Netanyahu. He did have some criticisms for that. He also had criticisms for Donald Trump. He also was saying stuff about Donald Trump in the Epstein files. Now, I find it very interesting that her conspiracy is going straight to Israel, but she doesn't want to say anything about the fact that CK also made very, I guess, sharp criticisms for how Donald Trump was handling the Epstein files. She doesn't want to say that because most of her audience are still Donald Trump supporters. And she doesn't want to say anything that would alienate her from her audience any further. Okay? Because she's not growing an audience. Okay? She's not going to grow an audience. So she's going to go down in this rabbit hole of conspiracies. That's just full-blown conspiracies. And if you want to go, I'm not against questions. I think questions are important. I think questions lead to the answers. Okay, Dr. Neely Fuller said, rest in power to that brother. He said, to get the right answers, you have to ask the right questions. Okay, all problems are solved with questions and answers. You have to ask questions. But my thing is that I can't help but notice that your questions keep leading you to the same people, and that she overlooks the Trump administration. She overlooks MAGA. She overlooks all of that stuff because she doesn't want to alienate her audience, because she's a grifter. That's what she is. She's not no super deep researcher or whatever the case is. A lot of people is giving her credit during the election when they were all like, "Oh yeah, Candace exposed Kamala wasn't black." Candace, Candace exposed that. We ain't been saying that for years. Candace exposed that.
Everybody been saying it, but I guess I don't
Oh,
follow them
oh
people, man.
yeah.
You
I'm gonna let you go, but
oh,
just
you in the middle of a speech? All right, okay.
yeah, yeah. We gonna get stuff started. Yo, there's a lot of people who give her so much leeway or whatever. We will say stuff, and then she provided the evidence. We've already provided evidence that the person that Kamala was saying was her grandmother wasn't her grandmother. We've been provided that evidence. We've been proved that. Okay, we've been proved that. She didn't prove anything that was not already said, but she got all of the credit for it. Let y'all tell it. And I just want to have a conversation about it, because if y'all feel like I'm wrong, then y'all can come up. If y'all feel like I'm wrong, if y'all Candace fans or whatever the case is, and y'all feel like we being too harsh on her and she be keeping it real, and let's come up and let's discuss it then. But we're going to get the panel started. You are, but whatever. I'm wrong. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. The fact that y'all don't want to come up proves my point correctly. Okay, it does. Because she's been grifting her entire career, and y'all can't disprove that. And you can try, though.
To Apple, I'm gonna say this about Candace first, though, right? I can't prove that she is a grifter, even though some grifty stuff has been going on. I think she's a broken clock. And so, like, when it was a rapper, right? And he was really young. And the things, he wasn't rapping about ABCs and liking to get his hair cut or spending time with his family. He was rapping about some real hardcore stuff. And what she said about that, I think she was right. So I will say that. And then she went to a speaking engagement, and the alternative community was mad at her, and she was like, "Life's tough, get a helmet." And this sometimes that Candace is a broken clock, and broken clocks are right 2 times a day. But that other stuff she be doing, I ain't with it. Yeah.
All right. That's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna say everything she says is incorrect. No, she's correct when it comes to certain things. But let's be honest. Who, like you said, it's a broken clock. We're not gonna sit up there and make it seem like this clock is accurate or works properly because it's right twice a day. Every clock is right twice a day, even if it's broken. All right. Let's get Zizi. What do you
Agree.
I definitely think she's a grifter for sure. I think she's been grifting for a long time. And you know what it is? She has a similar niches. People like CK and others on the right who use the same tactics, which is like a half truth teller, which is you might as well call a liar, because they know the whole truth, but they refuse to say the whole truth because they don't want to address the true problem. And then they love to buck their chests up and say, "Oh, well, we want to talk about the small hats and and act like they're so big and bad for doing that, but they don't want to address, like you said, even the white tea supremacists that's right in front of them, like Trump." So yeah, it's a grift. She knows exactly what she's doing. So yeah, it'll probably be another flip soon. But unfortunately, although she is a grifter, because she also is a bed wench, I'm not putting it past her that she doesn't actually believe some of the things that she says. I do think there may be a veil over her, some sort of, that YT supremacist delusion that a lot of, unfortunately, the victims of it suffer from. So, there's that, but also, yeah, she's definitely grifting for sure.
You know what? I agree with both of y'all. And I want to admit this, right? Candace does admit to having a bias against FBA, right? So, and she's Caribbean biased, meaning she has admitted that if Rihanna does something problematic, she won't call Rihanna out. But if Beyonce did something problematic, she would. Now, when she spoke about that little rapper, he had to be 8 years old, I agree with that sentiment. So I agree with y'all too. I'm going to just put that out there. She does admit to having a bias too. And she is biased. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. All right, we got a lot of people. Y'all make sure y'all tap the screen. Whether y'all love her or hate her, tap the screen anyway, so we can have a conversation. Delineationist, my brother, what's on your mind?
you know that Miss Candace Owens come from my neck of the woods where I used to live at in Connecticut. She's from Stamford, Connecticut. We can point back to 2007 when she was filing for that racial discrimination situation, where she was claiming that somebody was being biased to her at the high school, which resulted in a payout from the civil rights organization, the NAACP. She'd been grifting for that long. She's been grifting for that long. The same way that she be denying that there ain't no white supremacy, that there's a whole lot of things of that nature. She was also a victim of such a thing. And it was our organizations, those civil rights organizations in which our ancestors had put money into, bailed her Caribbean behind out. So that's one of the things I want to start to talk about. And then we're going to go through this little journey. I'm going to start calling her Alex Jones with boobs. And if you don't know about the stories of Alex Jones, right? He was on that same conservative talking point and whatever. And then he started going to the conspiracy theory lane. And what got him into trouble, again, we're going back to my old neighborhood in Connecticut. He made fun of Sandy Hook and said it was a hoax. And as a result, the family sued them. The families of the Sandy Hook victims sued him, and now he's broke. I kind of see Candace Owens kind of in the same light. That's why I call her Alex Jones with boobs, because she's going down from that conservative route. Now she want to talk to this conspiracy theory route. And she should be careful with that, because that can lead her into a couple of lawsuits, because that's what a lot of them conservative people do. And they'll normally do that to say that, hey, I'm not biased. See, I'm just talking about conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. That's just another grift tactic in which she's using just to stay on topic.
Yeah,
so, yeah, she is a certified grifter.
I think that she's going through a lawsuit right now, if I'm not mistaken. She's going through a lawsuit current. There's a current lawsuit against her from what I think in France they call it like the prime minister or something like that. The prime minister's wife, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lawsuit right now because she's been making videos for some months saying that he's the prime minister's wife was a transgender, you know, and pulling up different, you know, photos and saying that I guess she went through surgery or whatever the case may be. So now she was talking to Tucker Carlson about that. About the fact that she's currently going through a lawsuit about that. So yeah, this is the same road. Same road.
And I just want to close off with this. She has also gotten banned, I think, from Australia too, based off the rhetoric that she's talking about too. So I'm surprised. If you got one continent, she got a couple more to go. And I really think she's going to just ban herself all around the globe, no different from those Nigerians. So that's just my observation on the story and just staying on code with the topic. Thank you for allowing me to speak, man.
Appreciate that, brother. We just started. We got a lot of likes. Let's tap the screen, everybody. Let's tap the screen. All right, let's get to Master Live.
Yo, Mr. Live. I'm first generation Cuban American. Okay. And I say that Candace Owens, I don't hate her or like her. I've never seen one of her shows. Same thing went with the Charlie Kirk thing, dude, before he passed away or whatever. After he passed away, I did see a few of his episodes to see if what people was really talking about was true. You know what I'm saying? But that has not sparked my interest to watch one of her things. I don't know what she does say is right or wrong. But I do hear a lot of people saying bad things about her. And I want to remind everybody, hey, when was the last time you seen a live or because you know what I'm saying? I seen a couple of lives about Candace or whatever. I never seen a live about the House Speaker that she was also from the islands, Catherine Jean-Pierre, you know what I'm saying? Karine Jean-Pierre. All right, she was a piece of shit, and then you were forced to see her. Like this, Candace, I'm not forced to see her at all. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I could have just kept scrolling by. But I just heard a lot of bad things being said about her right now. Because I didn't even know what y'all were going about the grifter. I was really trying to find out what the grift that she was going about. Like, okay, so now what all I heard about is that she'll mention about the little hats people, but she ain't gonna mention the Trump administration. I voted for Trump, and I'm damn happy what he's doing. You know what? And I'm Latin. So I'm happy. I have some friends who their parents or whatever got deported, and I said, "Hey, wait, listen. Well, did your parents ever try to get the papers right?" No. Okay. Wait, hold up. Were your parents even following up with their shit? No.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. Okay, they got deported. Yeah. Okay. Do you know, as a citizen, you can claim them because that hasn't got taken away. Like, there's people getting claimed right now. Like, I'm a U.S. citizen. I could go claim somebody right now. Did you know that? The same way as adopting somebody, I got to prove that I could take care of that person. So I don't see what rights Trump is taking away. I don't see nobody's Medicare got taken away. People are still getting accepted for disability and all type. Everything is still rotating.
We're veering off topic a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is the grifting about, because Trump is doing a good job.
Okay, the whole thing is, I'm not sure why you brought Karine Jean-Pierre up, because
She's a piece of shit, and I was forced to see her.
regardless, hold on, stop. You're not gonna over.
Right.
But the thing is that regardless of your opinion of her, she's not been the speaker all year. Okay, she was the speaker of the House in the last administration. Okay, that so we're just gonna say something about everybody who's immigrant. Like, what is you bringing Karine Jean-Pierre up is completely unrelated to anything that has to do.
I think Candace is a better person than Jean-Pierre, because with her power, Candace, if she wanted to, she could have been in the administration right now, and she could do the same thing that Pierre was doing. Every time that we would have been seeing her, and she would have, oh, well, we can't talk right now. Bye-bye. The same thing
Let
Pierre
me
was
cut
doing.
in.
But
Let
hold
me
on,
cut in.
okay,
I'm
but
sorry.
here's the thing. Stop.
When
Stop.
if y'all never did a
Wait,
live
no,
about
you're
her.
not.
Okay,
You're
first
not.
off,
You're not.
here's
That's
stop.
fine.
The
Stop
whole
it,
4
dude.
years,
Stop.
you never did a live.
Stop. Okay,
Okay, hold on.
no, we're not gonna do that.
I know.
I want to
I know my place
remind
is
you
like.
that you did do a live about that lady when she wrote the book and came out speaking badly against the Democrats, right? We did speak on her. He just admitted, I don't believe he's a follower, because he just admitted he was scrolling by and saw the prompt and then decided to come in. But had he been a day one, he would know you addressed Miss Pierre a long time ago.
Yes, I did. And somebody in the chat room, while I drop him, educate him. He can be educated from the chat room. He doesn't. If he's gonna over talk people and he's not gonna listen, then he needs to be dropped, because we have decorum here. You know, I let him speak. I let him get his word off. He veered off subject, and I said, okay, let's circle this back. Now you want to say something about the previous administration. With all of the criticisms that the previous administration deserved, it has nothing to do with Candace right here. Okay, don't throw up the flaws of the DNC and the flaws of the Democrats in protection of Candace. We're having a conversation about a subject. Keep the conversation on the subject. All right, keep the conversation on the subject. It's even less to do with Donald Trump even. Okay, I don't understand I didn't even really know her. If you don't know her, you're coming up here and you're doing a lot of defense of her. You're really putting on the cape for somebody you quote unquote don't know like that. You quote unquote haven't seen like that. You watched a couple of their episodes only a couple weeks ago, but yet when you see a panel that's criticizing, you come up here and you run to defense. Very interesting. It's very interesting. And a lot of people say that they don't know certain people, but they're defending those people because they do know them. And they don't want to be held accountable for what the person has said. They don't want to be held accountable. So they'll say, well, I don't really know all they said. You know what I'm saying? But the way I see it is, I don't think that they wrong. Okay, well, if you don't know what they said, how are you saying that you don't think that they wrong? How are you saying that you don't see the grift if you are saying you don't even really know who Candace is like that?
Two things. Number one, I think I'm not a moderator no more. Could you fix that, or BX right quick? Because I couldn't even mute dude. He was doing too much. And secondly, let me just add on, just to clarify, because you just said it. It's not just about her and Trump, or her caping for Trump, or her trying to deflect from holding Trump accountable. It's her doing that with white tea supremacists, period, and in general with white tea supremacy. She caped for Derek Chauvin. She caped for Nick Fuentes up until he had to straight up outright call her a B word. Okay.
Yeah.
She's caping down for Charlie Kirk. So I mean for CK. So it's not just about necessarily him to deflect from the conversation, but it's about her and her attachment to trying to deflect from white tea supremacy in general. She does that by caping for these white tea men. So yeah. But you can go ahead.
Be honest.
About the mod.
You are, yeah. I just checked. You still
So
have the
you
mod access and
Oh,
all
what
that.
my thing tripping in?
wait.
Yeah,
So
your
you might
phone.
have to scroll out the room, come back up. It's kind of like reset the mod powers, because that does that to me sometimes too. And you just got to drop and come back. So Afro won't let nobody else in your space, but you might have to drop if you can't mute nobody.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get to as she's doing that. We'll get to upload love and then Sid and then we'll get to JTZ. JTZ.
I'm 48. I'm a descendant. My DNA is mostly descended from West African, whatever. So I guess I'm my family's been here, but so I guess I would consider myself a foundational Black American, because that's something I like to speak on a lot, and I can't stand when people act like we didn't build this, we didn't do some stuff here. But now coming from Candace, my first thought when I think about Candace, I mean my mom was a independent woman, so we kind of lived in the ghetto, but my grandparents were uppity, and so I go to their house whenever my mom couldn't handle it. And I remember I met a girl named Clarice. She looked just like Candace looked now, like not how she looked as a little kid. This when I was elementary, like real pretty. I liked her, but she acted like she was so better than everybody. But I just had such a crush on that girl. But that's my first thought about Candace. And then the second, I don't believe that she's grifting, and the reason why is because I be seeing a lot of these YT people coming out with videos saying some of the stuff she's saying ain't making sense. You know how like the projectile that went through CK. That now they saying he had a neck of steel that he could stop this projectile that usually just blows through animals and stuff. Then all of a sudden they got stopped by his neck, and this is the story. The FBI the government is trying to say that this man had a neck of steel. That don't make no sense. And then the fact that the leader of the small hat people, had to stop in the middle of running his country to address her, to publicly address her. I mean she on to something, and that's my opinion. I don't like her marital situation because I'm jealous.
Well, I'm glad that you admit that. I'm glad that you admit that. Let's just be honest, okay? Because I feel like that's why a lot of people give Candace grace. Can we tell the truth? Let's tell the truth today. A lot of people give Candace grace because Candace is not ugly. Okay, most people on the especially on the politically. First off, a lot of young people don't make their content based off of political stuff like that anyway. Okay, political commentary and stuff like that tends to be an older crowd. Most older people listen to that and all of that stuff. It's not like people in their 20s and 30s do it that often, which is why they stand out so much. Okay, and especially when it comes to the women. First off, she's Black. Okay, she's racially Black. Let's be honest. She's in a member of the Black race, which is rare. And then most of the other conservative women, they're up in their 40s, pushing 50 and everything like that. So she stands out. Okay, and she's more. I will call a spade a spade. She's more attractive than a lot of pretty much all of the other women on the right. Okay, she is, which is why people give her so much grace. It's not because she's groundbreaking. It's not because she's so intelligent. It's not because of any of that. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If Candace put on 60 pounds, people would not be giving her. If she was 60 pounds heavier than what she is right now, she would not be given no type of grace at all. People be all like, yeah, she a grifter. She don't know what she talking about. They wouldn't. Come on. And we're not even, I'm glad you admit that. I'm glad. So we can finally put that to bed. But even if we want to talk about the situation with CK and the situation with the small hats, that's what I'm saying. She's a grifter for. It's not necessarily for that situation. It's for the situation of that. It seems like every single she's an opportunist. Okay. Because when Black Lives Matter was there, she made a whole documentary proving that George Floyd, it was actually he OD'd and it wasn't Derek Chauvin defending him, and whether that's Breonna Taylor, whether that's George Floyd, whether that's Trayvon Martin, whether that's Ahmaud Arbery, she's out there defending every police officer, defending George Zimmerman, defending every single black unaliving possible, until she got into it with Charlie Kirk. And now, next thing you know, you ain't heard her say nothing about black people. She was out there calling black Juneteenth degenerate and Juneteenth ghetto and black culture ghetto, saying that she don't want nothing to do with black culture. That was a quote from her, until she got fired from the Daily Wire. Then next thing you know, she's on the Breakfast Club trying to act like she was the spook who sat by the door, and she was doing all of this because she really cared about the black community and she really wanted the advancement of black people. Now all of a sudden her whole motive and intention came, and she was just trying to put on and she was just trying to say the uncomfortable truths and inform the people. Okay, people that she said previously, when she was good with Ben Shapiro, she wanted nothing to do with. All right, now all of a sudden, all of her commentary is about Benjamin Netanyahu, all of it. Okay, all right. So yeah, that's grifting to me. That's how I see it. Let's be honest, that's grifting. But let's continue, because a lot of people want to speak on this subject. Let's get to Sid.
Yeah, peace. Good afternoon. I'm over the age of 18, and I am a foundational Black American. And
Right.
I do agree with your last sentiments in that she is an opportunist, but I don't believe her being an opportunist makes her a grifter. And it is true that she leverages her looks, because Candace Owens is beautiful, and she uses that combined with her articulation to, use what she got to get what she wants. And in that vein, it doesn't make her a grifter because, for one thing, a lot of what she says is true, and she's always.
What do you think that the documentary about George Floyd, was that true?
No, and I don't agree with everything that she says, but the
Okay.
vast majority of the things that she does say in regards to Black Americans, and despite the fact that she, it's honestly true that she doesn't really say positive things about Black Americans today, and she'll only speak about positive things about Black America as of yesterday. Like, we were these great people and we fell off, which again is also true, but we are also great people today, and she won't recognize that. She did say that, she has a bias towards her Caribbean side, but Candace Owens is a foundational Black American as well. And so it's not wrong to say that, to appreciate who she is and the impact that she has, because she is one of the greatest political commentators of her generation, and she's accomplished a lot of things before she's reached the age of 40. And Candace Owens' voice is very important, and the fact that she's talked about Netanyahu and what's going on in Israel today just speaks to her courage, and it speaks to her to her bravery, because a lot of our politicians won't even do that, and they'll risk selling out to corporate interests to completely ignoring what's going on over there and just giving them money whenever they put their hand out to ask for it. And so she has to be applauded for these things. And again, she was put on by CK. I guess we can't say that word, but the fact that he put her on and she honors that is not a grift. It's just a fact, and it goes to show as well that CK himself was a man of principle, was a man of courage, because he took some unknown college dropout, which he wasn't.
What?
Hold on, let's let him go. Let him go.
1 minute.
It made her a millionaire and shot her up through the ranks, and now again she's one of the most prominent conservative voices in America as a Black woman who doesn't have these credentials or all the things that they tell us that we're supposed to have. And so Candace Owens is to be commended, not again for everything she says, but she is again. She brings things from across the world and puts us on, because she is about to win her lawsuit against the president of France and proving that he married a man 30 years older than him who pretends to be a woman. But the thing is, the French press already proved that. The French media already proved that, and people who they have sued over there have already won lawsuits against defamation, because it's the truth. Anyone with eyes can tell, but when you actually go into the information that he brings, it's like, wow, these people are really weak. And these people are really bizarre, and so we have to appreciate Candace Owens while she's still
Now,
here.
let me ask you,
Okay,
now,
get
we
ready
gotta
to
appreciate Candace Owens. Candace Owens, until very recently, Candace Owens' content was pretty much solely anti-Black. Solely saying that Black Lives Matter was a grift, that the police do not target black people disproportionately, that black people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, that we fail from great. She didn't say that about the Caribbean.
All of those things are true, though.
No, it's not true. No, it's not
Black
true.
Lives Matter.
No, it's not true. No, it is not. Stop, dude, stop. No, it's not true. Nothing that she said is true at all. And she knows it's not true because she would have to keep the same standard with the Caribbean. And she said out her own mouth that she doesn't like bad mouthing the Caribbean. Candace Owens also exposed after she was fired from the Daily Wire that she was monetarily encouraged to go after black people. This is her. She said this. Not that she believed it. She said that it was monetarily beneficial for her. She was encouraged to go after black people, all right, and to talk about black people. That's what she said. While you sitting up there calling her beautiful and saying that she's some generational blessing that we all need to be grateful for. That's what she said. And all of this bravery she had, she didn't have her entire career until she fell out with Ben Shapiro. And Ben Shapiro is also a part of the small hat community. Big coincidence. Okay, so when she falls out with her former boss and gets fired from the Daily Wire, then all of a sudden his community is this big target, and she's brave for saying something about it.
So there's a difference between Jewish people, the J people, and Israel. She is coming at the state of Israel for the crimes that she believes they commit against the Palestinians.
Okay, one minute.
No.
Because I want to clear up this genealogy thing. 1 minute, y'all. So you said that she is Caribbean and FBA. I've never seen her parents. Who did she admit that she's part FBA? Because I've only heard her talk about being Caribbean.
No, she has not.
Candace Owens' ancestors were
was
enslaved
just
in
thinking
North
that.
Carolina.
She has not. She has never.
Candace Owens on record multiple times has admitted being Caribbean. So what are you talking about?
She invokes her Caribbean
that's
side
what
so
I
she can
said.
spice it up.
That's
She
the
invokes
only
her
side
Caribbean
she ever brings
so she
up.
can spice
She
it
only
up
brings that
so
side
she could
up.
appear
She
to
only
be a
brings
red
that
body.
side up.
Correct.
I got it. 1
Correct.
minute, y'all.
Sid is wrong.
1 minute, everybody. Could it be that you're looking at it because she is a part of a territory? She's from the Virgin Islands, and they are technically, just like Puerto Rico, technically citizens. But that we acquired those islands like after their enslavement era. They don't have history ties to this land as being foundational. So it's very important that we do not get the Caribbean who are American citizens but don't have the lineage. Because if that's the case, she's not FBA, she's just a citizen, right? Her people built 1 minute, Ray. Her people built the islands. They didn't build the United States of America, so she wouldn't be foundational. She doesn't
Candace
have that
Owens'
lineage.
ancestors were enslaved in North Carolina and Virginia. It's a fact. She
Where
has
can I find it?
No,
I'm gonna look it up. Where can I find it?
Candace has admitted that she has ancestry that is FBA. She's also admitted that her other half of her ancestry is Caribbean. She admitted that she was born and raised by her Caribbean family. This is what I know about this. Okay, I know I got the receipts locked in. She admitted that she was born and raised, or she was raised and grew up really by her Caribbean grandparents. That's what she said on her own YouTube channel by herself. Okay. And this is why she said that she has a Caribbean bias. All right. Now, stop, because you're putting the FBA jacket on her or whatever the case is. And at best, you could say she's an anchor baby who doesn't identify whatsoever with her FBA side. So her actions is nothing different than a tether. So she, at the very most, you could say an anchor baby, but at the end of the day, it's tether behavior, okay? Because she's siding with her Caribbean background, okay, in spite of her American background, okay? So she's choosing that. She promotes the Caribbean. She doesn't talk down on the Caribbean, nothing that, or anybody even from the Caribbean, but she has all of this criticism and tough love for Black America because she knows that it makes Black America look bad. She admitted that. You didn't know. She admitted all of what you're saying. All of what you're saying is mute because Candace admitted that. She spilled the beans on all of that when she got fired from the Daily Wire.
I don't agree with her doing that, but again, that's her prerogative. And if that's who she was raised by, that's who she was raised by, and she should honor both sides.
And I'm not. No. It doesn't matter who she was raised by. Why are you denigrating a group in a country that you live in? Okay, you're denigrating our community here. Okay, as the natives here, you're denigrating our community here. Yet you don't want to say anything, or you don't want to have your criticisms and your principles. If your principles change based off of the community that you're speaking on, then they're not real principles. Okay, the principles and the criticisms, they're disguised, they're really attacks disguised as criticism and tough love. That's what it is. Because if she had those principles, if they were real principles, she would share that with the Caribbean, and she would express the same amount of criticism and reprimanding towards the Caribbean. But she doesn't. She admitted herself that she has a bias because she doesn't want the Caribbean to look bad, but she doesn't mind making Black America look bad. Everything you're saying is mute because she's already said this. She's already said all of this.
That's not the totality of her character, though.
I was like, why do y'all think she is FBA? Why does he think she's FBA when all I've heard her say was she had a Caribbean bias, and her action shows she has a Caribbean bias. So those people, you let them go be Caribbean. You let them be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And those who embrace foundational Black American and stand on lineage business for foundational Black Americans, you embrace them. I think people like Candace give by ethnic bad names, so I'm not quick to put the FBA label on Candace because she already told us who she was.
Yeah.
She has a Caribbean bias. So don't harp off for her FBA lineage, Sid, because she's rejecting it.
But
All
nobody
right,
asked her
Sid.
to be
Thank you. We got to move on to the other speakers. Other people gotta speak. We got new people coming up. But we get your stance. Now we can respectfully agree to disagree. I disagree with it entirely. Personally, I agree. I disagree entirely. All right. I think you caping. I think you really told on yourself. The first thing you said was how beautiful she is, which is what I was saying before. Y'all, a lot of y'all, let's be honest, y'all got a bias because she's easy on the eyes for y'all. All right.
also be telling the truth, and she's very articulate.
No, she ain't.
What truth does she be telling? She doesn't tell any truth.
Sid,
Not saying that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
For Candace Owens in America.
That's enough, Sid. If you interrupt again, you're gonna be dropped. All right. JTZ, you got it.
Okay, so do I think she's a grifter? Definitely. Oh, I am African American. Dang, I forgot the other part I was supposed to say. But yeah. So Candace definitely is a grifter. She wants to play into race play, I feel like, and that's why she is a bedwench, like someone else said. Also, you cannot take what she says for face value, because exactly what you said, Afro, like, that was my whole point about the George Floyd situation. Like, his smurder was placed on TV, and she's just saying that, it's not a real thing. Like, that's crazy. She may be, I guess, what do you call it, phenotypically pretty, but she's not. Like, if you look into her soul, she's not pretty at all. All I gotta say is she is horrible, and she likes to play into race play. And then somebody also said that she is getting sued by the French people, like the French monarch, I don't know what it is, like the French, whatever. She's getting sued by them, and she specifically said she doesn't know why Trump has not tried to step in for her. Like, what do you need anybody to step in for you? Like you are you're the one who made that, and you're the one who made those claims, and guess what? You're getting punished for what you made. So he's not going to step in for you. And also, you are a black woman. At the end of the day, like, she's a black woman trying to get all these white people to love her, to appreciate her. It's not going to happen. And I really feel like she had an affair with CK as well. I feel like she had an affair with that man, but she wanted to call him a bestie. Like, girl, please. We see through you.
Yeah, there was a couple of commentators that been saying that they thought that their relationship was a little bit close. So that's what some people have been alleging. Some people have been alleging that. I have no proof of that. I'm not going to confirm or deny that, but a lot of people looking at some pictures and kind of side-eyeing that. Let's be honest. But we don't know.
Right, we don't. We honestly don't. But at the end of the day, like, why does she keep posting him? What I've seen that's been reposted of hers is him. And yeah, so I'm just gonna keep that on the back burner for myself. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Oh, I thought you was about to say something. All right. Well,
Say something. I'm sorry, my niece walked in, but I just wanted to say, I was thinking that exact thing she just said, because I never really thought about her level of attractiveness, to be honest. But honestly, she would be a lot more pretty if she wasn't, out here bedwinching and tap dancing for white tea zaddies. So yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna be honest, and it's a shame. I gotta call the brothers out, brothers. Let me say something to you, brothers. Not all of you, not most of you. Fortunately, thank you. But brothers, y'all sitting up there talking about how beautiful she is. She don't like black men, dude. She don't like black men.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, she's let that be known. That is abundantly clear that she do not like black men. As y'all sitting up there, she is a beautiful woman and she's so intelligent. She don't like black men. You never gonna get a chance, dude. Stop. Okay, come on, man. Don't go out bad like that. Not over Candace. No, come on now.
Candace to me is not attractive.
Yeah. Who is speaking right now? Who's speaking right now? See it. It shows me you on mute, so I didn't hear what you
It
were
shows
saying.
me that too, Afro.
Oh.
Wait a minute. That's crazy.
That's enough. Sid, I told you to stop interrupting or I'm gonna drop you. Okay.
Can I say
Now,
something?
I can bring up people who disagree, but no, you're not gonna sit up there and just be talking how you want to. This ain't that. All right. More black women thought like Candace Owens, they be with white men. So you think that's helping the community? All right.
Can I say something? Tyler.
Yeah, we'll get to Kylo and then we'll get to Alvito.
Okay, so this is how I feel about it. I feel that these people follow the money and then they follow a path. So we talk about Tucker Carlson, right? He had all this money coming from Fox, and after he got dropped from Fox, all of a sudden now he's talking, speaking out about stuff, speaking out about, that country in the Middle East we don't want to say. And the same thing with Candace Owens. She got dropped from the Daily Wire, and she just keeps following the money. And now what happens when you get dropped by the main ones that are feeding you? Now you go into conspiracy because that's all you have left. She's like at the end of the people that can actually cater to her. I'm not saying what she's saying right now is not real. I do think there's some truth to some of the things. But she was forced into that position. That's not who she originally was. And that's just currently how I feel about it.
Thank you. And let's be honest. Candace Owens, the bridges have been burned, okay? There is no real Daily Wire. Like, she doesn't have any connection. She burned the bridge to Daily Wire. I meant Turning Point USA. She's been gone from that, and she's not a part of Turning Point. She's not a part of Prager. She can't go back to those things. She's trying to do the thing with the independent stuff. She was able to ride the wave a little bit during the election, but that's over with. You know, when you're trying to follow the money, I'm gonna be very honest. The conspiracy theorist realm, it would be one thing if you started there, but if you were forced in that niche, that's almost a done deal. That's almost a done deal. When you get forced into the niche of everything is that's a done deal. That's a done deal because you're not growing any audience from that. You're only going to lose audience. You're only going to lose people. Okay. You're only going to get more lawsuits. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. But let's get to, let me see, Alvito. What's going on, bro? He keeps showing. Hold on for a second, bro. Hold on for a second. BX, is it me or all of the mics are muted? I don't know why.
All the mics are muted except I see my blue box. When Alvito and the other guy Sid talked, it was muted. So good talk now, Alvito. Talk now.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's
Um,
the way they press it or something, or it's a glitch.
yeah, I think Candace Owens, she's straight up, telling a lot of lies about the black community, about the families and stuff like that, what we have, accomplished. And she don't really talk. She talk a lot of negative, not a lot of positive things we have done in the community or, for America. You know, and also I think the politics is kind of like splitting us up into the conservative or liberal. We kind of like on both one of those parties. We got to get our own party back, like the Black Panthers, like 30 years ago plus. We got to create our own party system, but these politics, they separate us, Republican or Democrat.
Mm.
We never going to come to a good, solid agreement about certain topics in the Black community. There's always going to be a disagreement on something. You know what I'm saying? So like we never gonna get to the bottom of it, in the Black community. So
Hmm.
so yeah, we gotta create our own party system, gotta create our own, culture system so it could be foundational, Black. You feel me?
Yeah, but that might be another topic as far as like creating our own party or how the community should move forward politically. You know.
Yeah, but like I'm saying with the Republican and liberal, we got to get away from the two. It's just creating us splitting up the Black people, Black Americans or Caribbean, all sorts of groups of that's Black, splitting us up to certain parties. Some people support Trump and there's some people don't like Trump, completely don't
Well,
like him
the thing.
because of
Here's
certain value systems. Like, oh, there's might be
Okay,
some
well,
Black
brother,
people that's
let's because that's
LGBT.
we're
There's some
veering
gay people and
Alvito,
it's
Alvito,
liberal,
bro, Alvito,
there's
Alvito, brother,
lesbians.
Alvito,
Mute up, Alvito.
Alvito.
Go ahead, Ho.
We're veering off subject. We're veering off subject a bit, so let's not veer off subject. But as far as us, let's be honest,
It's
politically
not it's
foundational
not
black
off topic.
that no, because politically foundational Black Americans are not a monolith. Because we're not talking about Candace. You're not talking about Candace. Okay.
I'm talking about her party. She's a part of the
But
Republican
you're
Party.
talking about we
Is she
need to
not?
separate from the Democrats and the Republicans and make our own party. That's not the subject, though.
But she's a Republican, right?
Oh,
Even
she's
though
yeah.
yeah. So like we kind of there's some people that come on the panel that support what she does because
Okay,
they have a conservative mindset.
okay, but they support what she does because you can be conservative and then not support her as an opportunist and a grifter. All right, because the thing is that she'll be conservative as long as that benefits her. But before she could be a Democrat, when she was filing a lawsuit with the NAACP, she was not no right wing conservative like that. So yeah, she goes where the money goes. As far as us starting our own party and all of that stuff, the thing is that we need a code of conduct because every Black person just getting together and you know is not really as yeah, we'll talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation because that'll lead us down a rabbit hole and we'll get into a conversation that's not about this prompt. But thank you though.
All right, I drop that.
All right, thank you. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's get to um Avar. Avar. How do you
Avar.
Avar? Avar. What's up? What's up, bro?
Um, so I definitely agree. Candace is a grifter. Um,
Hmm.
you actually brought up a great point that I was going to get on was the fact that her whole career started out with her crying to the NAACP about being threatened in high school. She settled upon $18,000. Went used some of that money for schooling, but her family, they start to follow the money. Any way they can get money, that's where they went. And then as she grew higher in her career, she turned around and bashed the NAACP. So I've been to some NAACP meetings where she did show, and then there were meetings after where she started to bash people once she started to integrate into more of white tea society. Now she went to a predominantly white tea high school. She went to a predominantly white tea college, and she lived in a predominantly white tea town. The person that was sued at the time is the governor of Connecticut. They sued the Department of Education, but it was his son, which was the one that was sending the threat. So she wasn't raised in a foundational Black American home. She was raised in a Caribbean home with the Caribbean mindset that the white tea is superior, and she has carried that throughout her career. When it's when it does her benefit to bash the Black community in her circle where she was trying to climb ranks in, then she would do it. But like you said, since her parting, she now is trying to win back the Black community by pointing out certain things, trying to act like she's on their side because now she's out there on her own. She has nobody on her side. She went against the Black community, and now the other party that she went against, they don't want anything to do with her now. So she's using emotion and rhetoric to now win over the black person. And you're 100% right that a lot of men they fantasize about Candace Owens, right? And a lot of those men they do have lower self-esteem. They probably feel the same way that she felt going to those predominantly schools, feeling like they never really fit in with the Black community, and it was probably hard for them to fit in with the Black community, even if they were. And that had nothing to do with the Black community. That had everything to do with their confidence. So they probably feel this, that's why they probably connect to her. They probably see her as like this poster child for those who hang out with white tea people more than they hang out with their own people in their own community.
Yeah, I find it very telling when people are sitting up there making defenses for her and overlooking. It's one thing to say she's right about certain things, but we bring up the fact that the only documentary she's ever produced was a documentary trying to spread the misinformation about George Floyd. Okay, she put in a bunch of time, a bunch of effort. The only thing she's ever only documentary I mean she's ever produced herself, put her name on it and everything, was spreading lies about George Floyd. And y'all think that we should overlook that? We should overlook that, man. Man, come on, y'all with this low self-esteem, man. And Candace ain't really like y'all. Just is she really a head turner like that for real for y'all? Are you serious?
I have a question, Afroly. So I know about the new Black media, right? But who do we have that rivals Candace? Like, what FBA news personnel speaks on stages such as Candace does?
You mean to the level, to the degree, the big degree she does?
Yes.
There's nobody I can say that speaks to that that level of status and notoriety as of right now.
Because what I'm noticing, and maybe it's not on such a a high level like that, when the immigrant class, the tether class, decides that they want to speak disparagingly against foundational Black Americans, the people who try to defend us always drops the ball. And so I think in every corner of media, every corner of social media, especially, we need a presence that can counter these. how do you say, this rhetoric
Yeah.
about us. And so I just want to remind people you do have the new black media, which would be Jason Black, Tyreek Nasheed, Afro Elite and stuff. But then you have the podcasters who will not get as much highlight as the Joe Button and them can't defend us, y'all. They got their own agenda and they mainstream. So when you see a podcaster who is standing on Lineage business, please support them. And support looks like sharing their link so that it gets up into a certain level, because we don't have nobody combating Candace, because everybody think Candace look good. Like, where's the competition? I could tell when a woman's pretty, she's not something to drop, on a live over and throw the whole lineage under the bus.
Yeah.
My God, the way y'all talking, she's not ugly, but don't throw us under the
Yeah,
bus because you
come
think she
on.
attractive. Can y'all please start supporting the people who are just coming into being new black media, as well as our veterans out there, like y'all do Afro Lee and Tyreek Nasheed and Jason Black and Black Authority. Thank you. That's all I want to say, because we sitting here having a whole thing about Candace when I'd rather have our foundational black American counterpart who was in a debate with Candace. I want to start seeing that type of stuff, guys. Support independent journalists. Thank you. I
Hey,
am one
don't
too.
forget,
Thank
don't
you.
forget ZZ in that new black meeting. You ain't drop me. You ain't drop my name in
Yeah,
that new
me
black
and
meeting. I'm
Zizi.
in
So
that.
follow Zizi's page. She does have panels. Click the link in my bio. I upload my TikTok lives, but my TikTok lives are an echo chamber. I'm not letting nobody in my personal space. We come to Afro Elites and get a nice, calm conversation. But please continue your support of Afro Elite and emerging new black media too, because Candace should have some competition on the main stages she's in. Thank you. That's
I
all.
I totally agree, and I just wanted to say
Hold
something.
on. There was a
I'm
couple of
sorry, I don't
people.
know how to process. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the order because there was an order of people who come up and been waiting, and then we're gonna call you, and then we're gonna let you say your piece, give your piece. But we're gonna get to our sister Blue Fire.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
How y'all doing today? Candace Owens, to me, she is a Republican, right-leaning female version of Roland Martin. They
Mm,
both one and the same. They both, and they do it for, they just opposite sides. They work for opposite sides, but they both demonize and criticize Black Americans for their white paymasters, white tea paymasters. So I don't know if anybody said that yet, but if you want a version of her that she like her identity is one and the same, is Roland Martin.
yep. That's a good point. Yeah.
They're and somebody said, oh, they're well spoken. She's well spoken. Roland Martin is well spoken. He's very intelligent, but his rhetoric is not doing black people any good. The same with her. So they one in this. Their ideas. They're both working for white tea paymasters. They're just on opposite ends.
Yeah. Two sides of a coin, really.
Yeah. So they're the bashing and the shaming, they have that on pack. When it comes down to demonizing black folks, they
Mm-hmm.
both do that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Let's get to we'll get to Tywin, and then we'll get to Smiles. Tywin, are you there? Oh, looks not. Looks like he's not. We'll get to Smiles, but everybody got to tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. Everybody, let's tap this screen, y'all. Tap the screen. Let's get the likes up. Okay, we can get to 50. We should get to 50K in the next few minutes. We about 30. We about 30K. Tywin, going once, going twice. Okay.
Hello.
Oh boy, you just caught it. All right, you got it. Wait, what's your ethnic background? Where's your lineage from?
Black American.
Black America. Okay, all right.
Black American. I'm from Chicago.
Oh, really? Okay.
How do I feel? So yeah, Candace, like most, how how you say influence could be perceived as a grifter.
Okay.
Yeah, she started off, but it's a lot of different things. She started off with the lawsuit, then she went in another direction. However, look at everybody else. Everybody else is trying to get to the bag, and so inside of that, and this is what I've noticed personally, that is the willingness to sell Black Americans out is nuts. It's crazy work. Like say for instance, one person will be going in one direction, exposing the deficiencies of a Black network or Black American network. However, when that Black American network starts to cave or starts to cave in, then it then incorporates that individual into it. So by giving them money, favor, and whatever, and all these other different things. So we have no integrity, no integrity in these areas. To blame Candace or to come on here and make it a whole conversation about Candace Owens, I think is quite shady because everybody else is doing it. Everybody else, and now that she is in the crosshairs concerning Charlie Kirk, what's the thought? Because everybody else is in the crosshairs now. We got people talking down on a dead man. The kid was 31 years old. The kid had a lot of different opinions. The kid had
31 is not
did
a
his
kid,
work.
brother. 31 is not a kid. He was
To
a
me, it
grown
is.
man with a wife and 2 children. He's not a child.
But see, we're not talking about it as in child. See, when you thinking on a different level, like as far as when you live a life in a certain way, like kid. When we say kid, like it could be a 33-year-old man. I'm 45 years old, but the kid, that's the kid. You know why he's the kid? Because he moved in a certain way. Because
Okay, well,
me and him, we don't have
Dylan Roof, who went and he committed a mass hate
just
crime at a church, was 18 years old. So young people can do a lot of
that's a baby.
young people can do a lot of damage. I don't care how young he is. He's been doing a
That's a
lot of
baby.
damage for a long time. So his
But who's
age
been doing
should
the
not be a
damage? Who's been
factor
doing
in
the
us
damage? You
giving
talking
him
about Charlie
mercy.
Kirk?
Yes,
You talking about Charlie Kirk?
I'm not talking. I'm saying we're not going to give leeway or not going to spare the
Oh,
rod of
wait.
Charlie Kirk's
Let's
life
not say
because Charlie
we.
Kirk
Let's
was
not say
young.
we. Let's not say we because then we become a monolith. See, that's the
No,
thing. That's
we
the whole
should
thing.
not. We should not do that as a community. We should not.
See, there's no real community when it comes to because here we've divided ourselves. Because if I don't believe that I'm FBA, if I don't believe that I'm this, then I'm not part of that community.
No, you are.
When I'm a
Listen,
black,
okay, dude. Okay, let's not do that. Okay,
no, let's not. But see, but wait, still let me carry on, and then I'll get off. So here it is. So now the young Kirk kid was
kid
addressing things
again,
in Black American.
kid. Okay, 31,
Okay,
kid.
the
Okay,
young Kirk. Okay, Charlie Kirk then, because I see him because in our exchanges I just see him as a kid. So here,
he's
Charlie
only
Kirk
10
was
years younger than you. You said you
Charlie
was in your.
Charlie
Okay, let
Kirk
me
was
let me
exchanging.
let you go. Let me
Charlie
let you
Kirk
go.
was Charlie Kirk was addressing things in Black Americans, saying things, but as a white American or as one of our counterparts, it was abrasive. However, he was taking some points. He was hitting some points, and when you
What
take a
point?
step back,
What point did he make about the black
here
community that was correct?
one moment, please. Here one
Okay,
moment, can I?
because
Because
you're
here
being vague. I want you to be specific.
here
What
here
point
here,
did he
here
make that was
one moment.
correct?
Here one moment. See. Let me land this plane, and then because here I'm not here. I'm not here to sensationalize. I'm not here to debate. I'm just here to just give a small critique on what's going on, and then get out of the way. Is that okay?
Be specific, brother, because you're coming up here
Here,
saying that we're doing her. You said
here.
that we're
Let me
being
say this.
kind
Let
of
me say
wrong
it here.
towards
Here,
her, and we're having the dialogue.
look. Let me be specific about what I said earlier. Then here, the NAACP was being challenged last year. You were one of the challengers, right?
I was, yes.
However, I haven't heard you in months now challenge that platform, and they still fucking over us. Where did that challenge go?
First off, there's things that are done
No,
offline
no,
that
no. I
challenge.
want to ask you. I want to ask you this
No,
again.
no, no,
Where
you're
did that
not
challenge
gonna
go?
ask me nothing about that because there's still stuff in the
Right,
background that we're
because you're
working
gonna
on.
get money
Now you're
from it. Because
deflecting
now
from the
that
subject.
they've incorporated you.
You're no, you're
Okay, I
deflecting
need
from
to
the
one.
subject, dude. The challenges, and you probably haven't heard it in months or whatever the case is. I got multiple different channels with no multiple different profiles. I still hold them to the same standard. I didn't let up off them. Okay. I still hold them to the same standard. The same petition that is going on that I launched, okay, before, I'm still launching that and I'm still spreading that. Okay. Everything isn't made to be public, but you're sitting up there trying to criticize me and make it seem like everybody's a grifter. Everybody's not no damn grifter, dude. Everybody's not selling out for money, dude. Everybody doesn't do that. Everybody's not making false documentaries, lying on a dead man while you saying we criticizing the dead, which is Charlie Kirk. She made a whole documentary saying that George Floyd died of fentanyl. And we being too mean to Charlie Kirk, the kid. Man, man, come on, dude.
I want to piggyback off of what Afro says when he says there are things happening in the background and everything is not for everybody's consumption. Do you know that Black Americans are the most vocal? So therefore, everybody gets to pick us apart. We don't know when the natives are going for something, when the small hats are going for something, even the Latinos for what that's worth, and they're winning everything that their advocates are asking for. It's Black Americans on these stages giving away the blueprint. So, and we can't even trust some of us. So why would we strategize on an open platform? This is just a call awareness to certain things. If you were on his YouTube, he just talked about MAGA and things yesterday, right? So maybe follow all of his platforms because there's different topics on each one.
And as far as the whole kid thing as well, although that is a grown ass man, like you just said, but even if you did want to look at him as a kid, under this system of white supremacy, our children are accounted for as adults. They're very much adultified from a very young age. So I feel no sympathy, even if we are looking at him as a quote unquote kid.
So look, listen, just let me land the plane, then I'm out of here, man. Look, so this is what I'm getting. And this is because the reality of this is, Afro, hey, what's up, man? This is Taiwan Sims, City Council. Remember me?
I do.
You know me, right? You know my face, right? You know my movement, right? And have I not been consistent? Am I not always going to be the stand-up guy that I am, the person that I am? I'm not going to move any other way, but y'all do. You, Jessica Jackson, and y'all do. Y'all showed me y'all deficiencies. That's why I can speak on it.
Really?
That's why I can speak on it.
I remember with the election,
Okay.
you was being real shady when we was doing the thing with the city hall, and me and Miss Jackson had to talk about that because you
What
and
shadiness?
bro, no.
What shadiness?
Let me not. I was about to say
What
something.
shadiness?
I was about to say
What
something.
shadiness?
I don't
What
want to say.
shadiness?
When we
When
went to
y'all sat
Brandon
down with
Johnson,
Cotton Zara?
you know what? No, you know what?
Okay,
When y'all
wait,
sat
don't
down
clap
with
us.
Cotton
Mute
Zara,
up,
when y'all did what y'all
saying
did.
something that I don't got no business talking about right now. But yeah,
All right, no problem.
he's trust me, we got history. I know who he is. And
All
we
right.
got history. And he does move funny, which is why me and Miss Jackson don't mess with him no more. Talking about we all move shady, criticizing us while you defending Candace and Charlie Kirk. But we the ones moving shady. Miss Jackson ain't defended Charlie Kirk. I haven't, but he is. But we the ones moving shady.
Right. Okay, so Tawan, I'm gonna remove you from the room.
Jealous, because there was some stuff going on with the whole Chicago stuff, but this is not the conversation to have with that. This is not the conversation. This is not the time to expose that. But there was some stuff going on with the Chicago situation. All right, and as you can clearly tell, he's upset with that. All right, but I'm not gonna let that deter the conversation. We're gonna continue. Let's get to Smiles. You got it.
Okay. All right. So I'm 38, Black female, obviously. A couple points I wanted to make, especially with him. So with Candace, she's definitely a grifter. Candace not only goes where the money is, she's more so the way that she thinks is for the white people. I'm sorry, white tea people. I believe that everything that comes out of her mouth isn't believed by her, but that's how she gains her audience and that's how she gains her money. Any part of speaking up for us, if that's whatever you call it, that is to catch the young generation and erase the negative things that she has said. She's a mess. She's a mess. It's the soft spokenness. She is articulate, but the backtracking that she does makes no sense. I can't even think of the words. He got me upset. She contradicts. Thank you. She contradicts herself in multiple ways. Now, the issue, I feel as though it is the money. I don't think that she feels as though she is a beautiful black woman. She wants to be YT and she wants to be accepted by them. And when you want to be accepted by another group, your morals, what you stand for, it lacks. Because you don't know yourself, you don't know who you want to be, who you want to speak for, and at the end of the day, it's how can I come up and how can I get money when I ain't got nothing else? At least I'll have money. That's how I feel. I had a lot more to say, but I'm too white now because he upset me.
Yeah, man. I tell y'all. Okay.
Afro
Boy,
Lee,
that was some.
he didn't come up to talk about the prom. He came up there to undermine you because he would have lead into who he was.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. And there was something I wanted to say as far as addressing what he said. Why are we? I'm sorry. What was his words? Why are we shady coming after her as a people, right? She calls herself trying to hold us accountable, but if we don't feel as though we can hold each other accountable, that's the problem. We allow that one person to get on their mic and speak what they speak without anyone saying anything about it or just saying, oh, well, we don't want to go against her because she's our color. No, that's not how it works. If you're not speaking truth, if you're not trying to elevate, if you're just trying to bash and not just one group, I'm sorry, excuse me, you want to bash that one group where the others could do the same thing and it's not, it just doesn't fit the agenda, so you're not going to say it. That's someone that needs to be called out. It's not shady. She speaks on whatever they allow her to speak on and what she chooses. Everyone else has that same right.
Yeah. And let me also add this. The criticisms for Candace is not new. This is not no new thing. He's making it seem like we kicking somebody when they down. No, we've been saying this because Candace has been speaking against the community. She's been defending anytime we talk about racism or being a victim of racism and all that. She's out there defending them and saying that we're wrong, we're incorrect. The whole George Floyd thing was wrong. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, all of that stuff was wrong. There was no hands up, don't shoot. All of that stuff was wrong. Okay. So she's shown that she's been on their side the whole time. And people have been criticizing her for years now. So this is not kicking somebody while they down and, being unfair. No, it's not. And nor was it like that way with Charlie either.
But I will say, coming from I grew up everywhere, but mainly my schooling was in the suburbs. The only black child in the class, and that does do something to you. For a long time, it took me a while to even understand who I was as a person, as a black person. It took a while because your identity, you lose your identity when you have nothing to, that represents you in a classroom. You don't have the teachers that represent you. So the mind, the brainwashing that goes on in schools builds her. I feel as though built her up to be the self-hating person that she is.
Yep. You can tell she got a lot of low. There's a lot of anti-blackness in her mind.
Yes.
A lot of self-hate in her mind. Okay, and a lot of despise for her blackness. All right, and thank you, Smiles. Let's get to Cabernet Pixies.
So I'm gonna drop down so we can add more people. But thank you for having me up. And
Thank
hello
you.
BX and hello Zizi.
Hey.
Thank you, Blue.
Thank you, Oz, for having me up. I would say, now that I know what a grifter is, I don't think Candace Owens is a grifter at all. I've watched Candace Owens for years. I am a fan of hers. I'm a fan of Charlie Kirk's. I know people are, but I do like a lot of the tinfoil stuff, if you want to say it, conspiracy or whatever. But I don't see her as a self-hating person. I think life really is about perspective. If you're not a person that actually have sat down and watched her episodes, like her episodes after episodes and the content or you don't follow her, it's easy to, because you can't say somebody's perspective is just truly wrong, because if your perspective is that she's a self-hating black person, blah, 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 because of the things she said about George Floyd or her views on that, that's your reality. But when you look at a different perspective, like anyone else who may follow her, like me, I followed her.
What? Stop there. Did you give your ethnic
Can
group?
I not be stopped, please?
No,
Yeah,
we
you
just
can't
want
be
to follow
stopped
the rules,
because I didn't
though.
get your ethnic group.
Yeah, what is your ethnic group? Where's your ethnic group from?
What do you mean? I'm an African American woman.
Okay, no, because that's not really defined nowadays. Do you have descendancy from United States chattel slavery era? Do your ancestors descend from U.S. chattel slavery, ma'am?
Ma'am, our information was lost over years.
Okay, so I'm going to take that
what
as
we're
a
trying
no.
to say, ma'am, we're trying to say you might have a Caribbean background, you might have an African background from the continent. So we're just trying to specify, because Obama is an African American, they say.
What made you look at me and try to question that?
Okay, so here's the thing. We ask everybody
Okay.
what their background is. Here's the thing. We're well documented. You're talking about over the years. Honey, we're well documented. We are. Out of the diaspora, Black Americans are well documented. The only census you may not be able to find is the 1890 census. But you should be able to connect from the 1870 census if you're a true Black American. So again, are you a true Black American / African American? Because that's a reclassification term. If you have immigration in your background, that's not you.
Yeah.
Period.
If you got an immigrant background.
So yeah, if I had an immigrant background, that's crazy. I'm not an immigrant. I'm an African American on my mother's side.
Okay, well we just wanted to ask now.
Thank you. I'm an African American woman.
Okay, go ahead and we'll let you land, because I want to retort to what you had to say. Go ahead.
Thank you. So back to my point, it's about perspective. So like if someone as me or anyone else who does follow her stuff, I know that for a fact, she calls white people demons on the daily. She's fighting against white corporations and white people. And when we say things like, or someone did mention, she's following the money or she's doing this for money, she's receiving lawsuits day to day because she keeps speaking it. She's calling, this woman straight up called Pam Bondi the biggest loser on earth. And she does not have, and that's just, I guess, her attitude or how vocal she is, where she does not hold back on anyone. And maybe, because I
does on the Caribbean, though. She said it herself.
No.
She does
what
on
I
the
would
Caribbean.
say is, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So it can make, and it can be an uncomfortable truth. So my thing is, if she's not just giving the uncomfortable truths or her beliefs or opinions to Black people or Black situations, she's giving it to white folks too, and she's married to a white man. And she has not held back. She does not.
No, okay. Let's not mischaracterize. Let's not mischaracterize certain things. Okay. When she talks about white people, she does not talk about white culture as a collective. She talks about individuals or corporations or maybe people who may be white, but she does not talk about white culture. She does not demonize white culture. She does not do that. She upholds them as the standard. Okay.
What culture does white people have?
What culture do black people have? White people got a very bad culture.
We have many different cultures. Let's
No.
be fair.
I'm talking about foundational black Americans in this country.
It's a melting pot. We've been melted into it.
No, not really. Not really. No, we have not been. No, we have not been. Okay.
So you think we don't have
because here's the thing. If we're going to keep with that standard, why does Candace keep talking about black culture? Candace is on record for years.
That's my point. That's the point I was trying to make, Hose. That's the point I'm trying to make. You're speaking straight. You and many people on this panel and in the comments, y'all are speaking on a perspective that you have seen.
No, we're quoting her. See, this is what I don't like about y'all. Okay, y'all be defending somebody. Just at least have the integrity to tell the truth. I'm literally giving you quotes, statements, tweets. I'm literally saying she said this on YouTube. She said this on Twitter. She said this in an interview. She said this.
What did she say?
We're giving you quotes. Don't say that.
No, what did she say? You keep saying George Floyd.
No,
right?
because I'm talking about when she says about black culture. Okay.
What did she say about black culture?
And how black culture was.
You just said black. You just said what is black culture, right? You just asked that question.
Okay, now, right? Okay, what do you think she thinks black culture is?
No. You just said, you asked me what is.
Ma'am, what state do you live in? Talking about a melting pot.
Hold on. Yes, I'm gonna get her. I'm
talking to her. Okay. So you just asked me what was black culture, and I'm trying to say, right? We do have black culture. There's many black culture. You told me no, right? So now that you're trying to
no, I did not say that. Don't misquote me. I did not say that.
You
said it's a melting pot, and you said that you can't really define black culture. I'm saying I'm specifically talking about black American culture. The culture that she said. Hold on, listen. You like you and Sid. All of this stuff is mute because she's already spilt the beans. You're trying to defend something. Don't know she's already confessed to doing this. She's already confessed to saying that she was specifically pushed and told to talk about black American culture. She's already said this. Go look at her Twitter. Go look at her Twitter, and she's already admitted that she got fired from the Daily Wire. So this isn't me making anything up. Okay, she's already admitted that. All right.
I'm so sorry to you, but that is not true.
That's what she tweeted. So I don't know. I guess her Twitter was hacked.
Well, my question is to you: what is black culture? Because I'm really confused now. As an African American,
black culture?
Y'all question me. What is black culture?
Not an African American woman.
No. What is black American culture?
Ma'am.
What is black American
culture? Let's cut it out.
Don't tell me who I am.
Does African Americans have a culture?
Don't tell me who I am. Now you're wrong.
Don't be triggered. I'm telling you who you're not. We're having a dialogue. We're having a dialogue. Culture in general is pretty much the behaviors, traditions, the traditions of a certain group of people. Okay. Mm-hmm. That is the traditions of a certain group of people, which can span from language, which can span from dialect, which can span from cultural and religious traditions, which can also span. That's the definition. Black Americans, we have a culture. This is the culture that she has consistently for years denigrated. Music is another part of culture. Food is another part of culture. Okay. Entertainment is another part of culture. And she has denigrated all of these things for years. She has not said anything about white culture. You can go look up several clips of her saying things about black culture, and she doesn't say that about white culture. All right. Okay. So you're trying to make it seem as if she's been even-handed, and she has not been. She literally said that she's not been. So there's no need to lie on her when she's already confessed that she was encouraged, okay, by her bosses to speak on black people. And when she left the Daily Wire, all of a sudden, she don't really got nothing to say about black people. Now it's all about Israel.
Okay, and this is my point. This is my point about when we talk about black culture. Y'all, it's like we keep overlooking the fact that we live in America, which is understandably a melting pot. So when you say things, what makes black culture like food, right?
Okay, we're losing the plot. We're losing the plot. When I talk about black American culture, it's very well defined. It's very well defined. People
Okay, but
know
what
about
about
the
somebody who
difference between
doesn't
Black
listen? Okay,
American culture.
do you listen to drill? Do you just listen to drill rap?
There are multiple parts of Black American
Ma'am,
culture.
ma'am.
Okay,
You know
okay,
what Black
Let's say
American
I
okay,
do.
culture
Let's
okay.
say I
So
do
is.
that's
for
the
the
part
fact
I'm
that
trying to
let
get to.
ma'am, ma'am. Are you
That's the part
saying
I'm
that
trying to get to.
drill rap is Black culture? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying, do you listen to that? Do you
Not
listen to drill
not
rap?
not
Okay.
really.
Do you know that there are some black people that would not like that a part of what they got going on? They don't listen to that.
That doesn't mean it's not a
Man,
part of our
that's not
culture.
that we're not a monolith, but there still is a culture. And
That's my
every
point.
culture
We're
you
not
have
a
different
mono.
people who's not a monolith,
Yes,
man.
that's what I'm
And we're
saying.
not
We're
gonna
not
sit
a
up there.
monolith.
Stop, ma'am. We're not gonna do because now we're talking about culture and all of this stuff. I want to go back to what you were saying about differences of opinion and differences of perspective. What is your perspective of George Floyd in the situation with George Floyd? What is your perspective of that?
My perspective of George Floyd was that I honestly, mm, I read the documents and stuff, so it was iffy. I still feel like it was a little bit too,
It was
I
what's
would say,
iffy.
like aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
George Floyd was aggressive. Who was aggressive?
No, because when you look back at I looked over the court documents, and actually, like the autopsy said, he was actually overdosing from fentanyl, right? And when I actually look
No,
back at,
no, no, no. That's not what the autopsy said. Don't
yes,
lie.
it does. Yes, it does. I can pull it
There
up
was
for you
two
right now.
autopsies. The autopsy said that George Floyd died from
No, it did not. Don't even say
yes it
nothing
did.
crazy.
Yes it did. And here's how you know it did, because the lawyers, Derek Chauvin's lawyers in court conceded that. Chauvin's lawyers in court conceded that the autopsy was correct. There were medical examiners
But
that
what
went
did
to
his
the court.
autopsy
There
say?
were I watched the court. I watched the trial live. I
I watched
watched
it
the
too, and I
trial
read the
live,
documents.
and there were medical examiners. It's asphyxiation. Thank you. There were multiple medical examiners that came there and testified that it was asphyxiation that took his life. It was the lack of oxygen from the pressure from Derek Chauvin's neck on knee on George Floyd's neck. Multiple
False.
medical
False.
examiners and okay, get out of here.
That's false.
Get out of here.
Okay, because we don't agree.
And African American, the term came into use in 1988. It won't be on anybody's census until 2010. Y'all stick with that word if you want to, and you're gonna have people like her, cosplayers, everybody trying to latch on. Now, when I identify as an African American, that's because it's a reclassification term, and I'm not giving that and all of our accomplishments to immigrants who don't have no standing to the lineage on this land. It's our reclassification term. Don't let them get away with identifying as African American either, because they're not that. When they hide their genealogy like that, you gotta be leery of them. You know why? Because they too have a bias, like Candace, and she showed it.
Let me be honest. I let that play out. Do you guys notice there's a pattern with every single person who came here in defense of Candace? These are her defenders in our community. There's a pattern. Every single last one of them. Well, no, she wasn't wrong about that. The whole thing is iffy about the George Floyd. What is iffy about that? Because she didn't really want to say that. It's a pattern with all of them. All of them are anti-black sellers. Every single last one. And this further goes to prove, if these are her defenders, that's what she stood for. Okay? It only validates exactly what we've been saying the entire time. Every single person who came up here and tried to defend her validates exactly what we've been saying the whole time.
And she didn't want to say it, but what she was getting to, and that's why the first thing she brought up was drill music, because what she wanted to get to was, oh well, Candace is only speaking on our culture because of how degenerate it is. She believes Black culture. She didn't want to say it, but ultimately that's what she believes, because Candace is the type of person that loves to use the talking points like, oh, they're only 13% of the population, but they commit 50% of the crimes. She said that multiple times. So that's what she was trying to dance around, what she was trying to get. Oh, it's just different perspectives. No, it's not perspective. You are looking through an anti-Black lens, because that only represents a small percentage of our community. You know that. Candace knows that. But you don't want to admit to that. That's why you got to get to the, well, it's just a perspective. And if you look at it like this, no, if you look at it through an anti-black lens, of course you're going to look at it like that. But you don't want to admit to that. Very dishonest.
Yeah.
Candace is a hack.
Yeah.
Candace is a mouth for hire. That's all she is. Whoever was paying her the top dollar, that's where she goes. She can, as far as I'm concerned, as an elder in the FBA, she can't come back.
No.
She cannot come back.
For her to say that it's been fair criticism, no, it's, first off, she's very rarely touched on anybody from the YT society. Very rarely touched on that. Another part too, did she say that the 4th of July was a degenerate holiday and shouldn't be considered a real holiday, the way she said that Juneteenth was degenerate and that Juneteenth shouldn't be considered a real holiday?
Right.
Now, there was still slavery in the country. Legally, there was still slavery in the country during the 4th of July in 1776. And she has not said nothing ever negative about the 4th of July or any other holiday for that matter. But she's on multiple accounts talked about how Juneteenth is degenerate for really no reason. And Juneteenth shouldn't be considered a real holiday. And how black people act degenerate around Juneteenth. And how and this was a part when she was a part of the Daily Wire, she said this, how she didn't want anything to do with black culture. Black culture. But you asking, what is black culture? I mean, there's a melting pot in America. Yeah, she said she didn't want to have anything to do with it. So don't play us like we don't know what she's been saying.
Can I chime in real fast?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to get to you. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to be patient, but my personal opinion when it comes to this topic, is we have to start looking at these statistics that they throw out, and we have to really educate people, which is what I've done, because there is actually a guy on TikTok that he has the real statistics. He looks into them deeply and he explains them, and he explains how these grifters aren't giving out real statistics, right? So one of the statistics that I was looking at today was it was based off of what Candace Owens and the other guy, what they used to throw out. And they said 2/3 of black men, have children and they don't stay with the mother, right? So something that was very interesting that I seen today was that there's a study, I think it was like two years ago that they did, Bowling Green University did a study. And it was for black men ages 15 to like 49 or 59, and like 54 to like 56% of black men never even had a child, right? Like they never had a child. So the remaining percentage of it, which would be like 46 of it, 55% of those black men were either in the household or active in their child's life, right? So what's super dangerous is that these grifters and these content creators, they throw out numbers like 2/3 of black men don't, they have a child and they don't take care of it, right? And people run with that number, and it keeps getting, spewed across these platforms, and people believe it. And, like that young lady that was just up here, like she doesn't do any research. She just believes what she hears, Candace Owens saying, and it's literally a lie, right? Like, even when it comes to crime in general, right? Like, we all know that's intraracial, right? Like, people commit crime within the same race. And if you go look up the statistics on that, it shows a difference. And all I'm saying is that we have to start looking at these statistics and actually combat these statistics, because that's the only thing that they have is lies and fake statistics that don't really add up. You know what I mean? This 13% to 50, like all that stuff. If you just dig deep, and do research, all that stuff can be combated, and it makes it racist it makes it racist because Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk, they knew the truth, right? Like, they're not smart. They knew what they were doing. Like, I'm pretty sure that they knew exactly what they were doing when they say things like this 2/3 or this 13% to 50%. They knew what they were doing, but it gets them views, and it gets people rowdy. And I think that that's something that we definitely have to, that's the only way that we can beat this, this situation that we got going on, is to actually look at the statistics and educate ourselves so we can quickly dismiss that, because that's the only thing that they do, is they get these statistics that are completely wrong. Yeah. So That's what I wanted. And I'm gonna tell.
You cut out for a second. You cut out.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
So I would advise everybody, whenever you get a chance, to go look up the Medium Man on TikTok, and he actually uses the same FBI table that everybody uses for the 13%, 50. Whenever the same table that they're using, he breaks it down for you, and he shows you the per capita and how all that stuff works, and how all of that is a myth just to demonize Black people and make us look violent. And that's just really what it is. It's not true. You know what I mean? Those statistics are not true, and they're not represented in an honest way. It's only to make Black people look bad. So his name is Medium Man on TikTok, and this is all, receipts and stuff like that. And it uses the same sources that they're trying to use, but he explains it so we can understand it. And that's the only way that, as Black people or people in general, that we can actually combat this, because it's hate speech, and it's really, really harmful to youth people, because they're not, they don't take the time to go research this stuff. And it's very important, because it just keeps getting spewed out over and over again. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I just wanted to say, like, the only way to beat this is to actually look up the data. The data does not show what they're trying to tell about us as far as being fathers, when it comes to wealth gap, to Black women, to even when it comes to crime and stuff like that. Really do the research, because it's a lie. I'm telling you.
Okay, yeah, definitely. We have to understand that, because they use statistic, and the thing is about statistics. Statistics is important to know, but you have to put the statistic in context, and you have to put all of the data sheets and all of the tables and information in context. In context, you can understand exactly what it's saying, what the problems are, but out of context, which is what her and Charlie always did, they would take certain things about Black people, specifically us, Black Americans, Foundation Black Americans, out of context, so then they can manipulate that to vilify our community. All right? And they would say, well, okay, well, the problem with crime ain't got nothing to do with poverty. It has nothing to do with poverty. It's hip hop. That's the problem. It's the quote unquote lack of fatherhood in the community. That's the problem. All right. And they're weaponizing statistics and data against the community.
ZZ, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I don't know if
I'm going to reset the decorum for the room.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Okay, so when everybody comes up, when they're allowed to come on the panel, please leave with your ethnic group, and if you're over 18, right? So if your ancestors were not in the United States of America between 1863 through 1865 and can be found on the 1870 census, then you are not an African American / Black American, nor should you culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What you are is your country of origin, meaning your parents, your grandparents, right? So if you have two immigrant parents who migrated here and have you, you would be like, let's say, Jamaican American, Nigerian American, Ghanaian American, Trinidadian American, so on and so forth. It's important that we identify as we are, because it helps put certain things into context and allows us to answer you from the Black American perspective, because what I'm noticing is you'll never see things through our lens, and y'all lack a little bit of education since you didn't have our elders. Also, I got to say this. If you are a foreigner, don't tell us what our ancestors would and wouldn't be proud of. As a spiritualist, I don't believe they would speak to you, because you are in an alignment with us, right? So please don't speak on our ancestors as if you know if they'll be proud of us or not. That's not your decision to make. Some of us actually speak to our ancestors, and we know and understand how they want us to move forward. That ain't your call. Thank you. That's all.
Everybody, we got over 300 people in the room, and we got to tap. Everybody got to tap the screen. There's just everybody do a mass tapping of the screen, whether you love or a hater. Just tap the screen, everybody, so we can get as many likes up as possible. We should have 100K by now. Normally, we don't even need to reach 300 people to get 100K, and we got 300 people in here, over 300 people in here. Everybody just tap the screen. All right.
Afro? I want to state, I grew up in the suburbs. Not that that's better than any other place, but when you grew up amongst the people, you learn their ways. My mother always said we would know them better than they would ever know us, because our lives depended on knowing, how they moved and what they would do. And when they talk about us, all that is projection. It's their fingers pointing right back at themselves. They don't ever say, and if you really look at statistics, we think, oh, the inner city or the South has more crime than anywhere else. You better look and see where Colorado is and those plain states. They have crime coming out the yin yang, and they never mention the pew pewers. Why do you never mention that? It's almost has become, our hearts almost hard because every day there is another one. There was one done at the same time, when the man unfortunately lost his life. There was one going on right then, but you don't hear anything about it. And the degenerates, we don't go down that road. Where's the statistics for all these men that are getting caught trafficking these children? They're not black men. They never want to roll out anything that's really significant. And my dad was an engineer, and he always said about numbers that the computers will tell you exactly what you want to know, depending on and Afro just alluded to that, what numbers you put in. You can skewer anything and twist it around and make it seem like it's coming out in your favor. But as one that grew up around them, we got issues. And I know people get mad when I say it, but we don't have those issues. I'm telling you. Because it starts very, very young. Children I went to elementary school with, as you get to junior high, they start to pull away. Then you're like, well, why? Ask my mother. Because now, actually they think we're in the same dating pool as they're in. It's very interesting. My mother broke it down to me. And I started to see certain characteristics and little things that they will say. Well, as a result, I was militant at 8 and 9. I love me some Angela Davis. You could no longer be friends with me. But I think as they grow older and start to matriculate out of junior high school and college, they really distance themselves away from us. They like us in childhood. They'll play with us. But I believe it's something to do with, what do you say? It's a psychopathy. It's an illness. If you start to look at when you dislike someone that's a different color just because they're a different color, that's a sickness. And we have to acknowledge that in our community. And just because they're black like us or skin type like us, they're not our kind. And we have to acknowledge that also. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I land my plane.
That's true. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed. Thank you. We'll get to...
Hold up. Afro, before you go to the next speaker, I just wanted to touch on what that last brother has said, promo. I do understand that we, education is for sure very important for a lot of us to do our own research, our due diligence. But we also have to recognize that weaponized incompetence is very much a big tactic for the white supremacists and their pawns like Candace Owens. So those people know what they're doing. That's why I'm like, they're half truth tellers because she knows the whole truth. They know. Even the last speaker, you see, as soon as BX tried to ask, well, let me interrupt. What's your ethnicity? Oh, well, I don't want to be interrupted because it wasn't about correction. It was about curiosity. It wasn't even about really trying to have a real conversation. She just wanted to come in and cause confusion and disrupt and use weaponized incompetence to do such. So, we just have to be careful and call that out when we do see it because that's what that was. That girl was ignorant.
It's easy.
Yep. That's true. All right, let's get to Black Panther. I was about to say Black Panther. Panther Black. Panther Black. Okay, well, he's busy doing something in Wakanda right now, so we'll get to Nilly.
So the reason why I came up because you pointed out Candace being a grifter. I 100% agree, and I think the whole I guess display of affection she did with Charlie Kirk when she put up on her Instagram story like all of the behind the scenes and then taking it in the car and rapping to auto rap music, that to me was 100% evidence of her grifting because both her and Charlie have made a huge point to try to identify the degeneracy of the Black community tied to things like hip hop and rap. But she literally went on this whole story and rant about how she introduced Charlie to Kanye West and how they would rap and sing hip hop at the top of their lungs. They're in the back of the car singing Ignition by R. Kelly. They singing Power at the top of their lungs. He's rapping. She's wearing Yeezy. Hold on. But if this is the reason or a big part of why supposedly there's degeneracy in the Black community, but when the cameras are off and you're no longer rolling, you're enjoying it on the back end, it's giving that you're only going to say whatever you need to say in order to get paid on camera. It's very much so opportunist. And to me, that's 100% grifting. I think someone else pointed it out. When she got dropped from the Daily Wire, all of a sudden she's hyperfixated on Israel. There's no more over critique of the Black community. There's no more aggrandizement of Black people outside of the United States. Because mind you, I think somebody up here called her an FBA. She's not even FBA. Her people are Caribbean. And when I found that out, I'm like, that explains a lot. Because she always liked to talk about her Caribbean granddaddy who came from, I think, Bahamas. And he was the only one of her family who really experienced racism. I'm like, girl, well, like that alone, Caribbean people have had a history of trying to undermine the Black American experience. So when I heard that, it 100% tied into everything she's ever done as it relates to our community. She's technically not even a part of our community. She's literally an outsider, speaking on us, but then grifting behind the scenes with Charlie Kirk, rapping Kanye West lyrics at the top of their lungs.
No, that's a good point. That's really a good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. When people say she's not, she doesn't believe in what she's saying. Clearly, she doesn't believe in what she's saying. Because if these were principles, they would be principles whether she was with Turning Point USA. They would be principles if she was with Prager or the Daily Wire or even as an independent. But her principles shift depending on what community she's talking about or depending on what corporation she's affiliated with at the time. Now, when you're with Charlie Kirk, hip hop is cool. But now when you're with the Daily Wire, hip hop is degenerate. Because to be honest, it was really Donald Trump's idea to make Juneteenth a federal holiday when he was running against Biden in 2020. He lost, Biden won, and then Biden made Juneteenth a federal holiday. Candace didn't say anything negative about Juneteenth when it was Donald Trump's idea to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. You can go look up the Platinum Plan. When Donald Trump said, I'm going to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, Candace was all like, oh, see, that's proof he's not racist. That's proof he loves Black people. And then when Biden made Juneteenth a federal holiday, then it's all Juneteenth is now degenerate. Juneteenth doesn't deserve to be a holiday. Juneteenth is now ghetto now. Oh, so your principle and your stance on Juneteenth, I'm not defending Biden. I'm not defending Trump. I'm talking about her stances on certain things. Your stance shifts depending on where the money is. Okay? And depending on what your audience wants to hear. Your principles shift depending on what your audience wants to hear or your new audience. What niche you're trying to go into. So by definition, that's a grifter. Because you're preaching something that you really know is false and you don't believe in.
She's 100% a grifter, and it's sad that she has to learn the hard way. I mean, even how she's being treated with the whole Charlie Kirk situation and how she's kind of being left on the outskirts, yet, if I'm being honest, she's the only one that has displayed any sort of genuine mourning towards him. It's like she's still on the outskirts. And I mean, and even when she did the whole interview with Nick Fuentes, and he basically played in her face and told her to her face that her being Black automatically means that her IQ is lower than average. And she tried to sit up there and act like she was going to have an intelligent conversation with him as he dog walked her. Mm-hmm. Like she refuses to just be like, you know what, I messed up. I supported the wrong people. I supported people that were against my own benefit. I thought that I was going to be the token. I was going to prove everybody wrong. And they still played you to the left. She should be embarrassed. The man even said that she was an Uncle Tom. How is a extremely far right white supremacist calling you an Uncle Tom? When are you going to wake up, grifter? Yeah. It's sad. It's sad.
She had an apology. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Thank you. It is. Okay. All of that, they don't see race, and we're making everything about race, and then they'll get to her face and say, your blackness makes your IQ low.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you were telling us that we see race too much. That's what she told us. Okay. It's very
And let him say it.
it's sad. It is. It's pathetic. And it's this downward spiral that we're all seeing in real time, honestly. Thank you for that. Let's get to Fannie Lou Hellfighter. Fannie Lou Hellfighter. You got it. Fannie Lou Hellfighter.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. How you doing? How you doing? I've been missing you. Um, I caught you today, so I'm back. I've been missing you. Um, okay, so I've been listening a little bit. I didn't get to hear it all, so what I'm saying might be a repeat, but I do think it's relevant. I think I need to say it if we haven't said it already. So just go with me. I'm not being messy, but I'm just trying to say something. But we got to say it a certain way. So you got Grifter on there, right? But I want the black community to know something about the game. And I know we all know the game, but we got to get in the game with this one, because this one here cost us. And I want anybody that's ready to just up and forgive her. You can forgive her, but let me just say this. She ain't new to this game. She true to this game. And now the game has shifted. So where we saying Grifter, just go with me for a minute. Charlie gone, right? Charlie own wife ain't cried online for him. Did y'all see that? No tears.
I did.
No tears. Okay. Candace, on the other hand, just toe up. She about to get rid of her podcast. I mean, she going in. She raging. Okay, so what does that tell us? Because we black. When a black woman love a man,
Hard.
y'all know. Baby. And then she's a man without a country when she stepped over in that realm. So Charlie was her man. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out later it was more to that. Okay, now I'm just gonna put a pin in that because I don't want to start no conspiracy theories just for entertainment purposes only. Allegedly, okay, but you know us and we know us. Okay, I don't care if she is Caribbean, she black. But anyway, let me go on. The other thing is, your house on fire, lady. And what do, these red pillars? Every time they get in trouble with their base, they want to run hightail it back to our communities and put us in jeopardy because of who's following and chasing them. See, they'll come over here and bring all of that tragedy over here and then stand back with their hands up because they trying to run for their life. Even when they sold out and know we were never part of their formula, but they'll drag that mess over here in our community, put us all in jeopardy, put our kids in jeopardy, new policies, new legislation, all this stuff, because they running from them. You understand? And when they get back in good with them, we bad again. You see what I'm saying? That's why we gonna have to keep her at bay. And that's why it's not unforgiveness. And it's not even a grift. She running out of people. And now Charlie gone. And these people are trying to shut down any and everybody and everything that's gonna point the finger at you know who and we know what. And she's wide open talking about it. She needs some friends. Well, I just want to say it may be a conspiracy, but I want the community to keep up and pay attention because we can't let her in here like this here on our babies now. We can't do it. So I'm going to just land my plane right there. That was something that was on my heart to say because, this ain't no grift. She running for her life, but we can't let her in here to jeopardize what we got going on. So y'all have a great day, great evening, good food. Love you. I'm sorry that I missed you.
I'm glad
just
you're
be
back.
careful. Yeah. All right, y'all. Blessings. All right.
Glad you're back.
Get out.
We can't let her back in the house. She's been trying for a whole decade to burn the house down, burn our house down. Now she needs some help. Now she don't got no friends to turn to. Everybody is either trying to sue her or diss her. Now she want to run back and seek refuge under the House of Black people. No, I'm not letting her back in.
We always the last resort.
It's not happening. I'm gonna keep it real with you. She did that to herself. She made her bed for her entire career. Now she has to lie in it. She got to lie in it, and I'm not gonna feel no type of way about it.
And Afro, someone in the comments made a brilliant comment. I forgot. She used the NAACPA on to get money as a lawsuit that she had been mistreated, and she used her blackness as the basis. So, but for me, people like that, they're chameleons. You can't trust them because they're going to go wherever the wind blows. And now the way the wind is blowing for her, that's a topic that she should not even have in her mouth, because if you do any investigating on his end, all is not as it seems. And they cannot. I'm not going to say that. I'm a grandmother, and I have to tell my grandkids, when you send Nana a message, please use English. These young people do not use English. It's all these little three-letter things and all these little comments and stuff. I can't even read it. So I beg to differ. I don't think a young person sent that text. Because if they don't use English with their grandmother, you're not getting any money, because I don't understand what you're doing. So even with that, she's barking up the wrong tree. And I thought with that sister just got off there. I said, when we love hard. And that girl is breathing harder to me than what she would if that was just an ordinary friend. But we don't leave that alone. And then the utter just disrespect. They didn't even invite her to the memorial.
They didn't.
Damn, they didn't invite her to the
They didn't
memorial.
invite her to the memorial. And they invited.
They
What's
did
funny?
invite her
What's
though.
funny about that? They invited Tucker Carlson to speak. Not just invited him. They invited Tucker Carlson to speak at the memorial. And Tucker Carlson and Charlie had beef.
Yeah, sure
As
did.
funny as that is.
Side chick energy to me. But now it's gonna leave that alone.
But
Didn't
yeah,
the
And the way the
white
wife was
don't
friends,
hugging
spread no
poor Trump.
conspiracies, but you know
right?
what I'm saying.
Didn't the wife's friends tell the wife that you got to get Candace in check? Something's running around the rumor mill that they told the YT wife to get Candace in check because she was doing too much. Go ahead, ZZ.
Yeah,
And
it's some stuff going on in the behind the scenes with that. But Zizi, you want to say something?
no, I was just adding on, like, especially with the wife hugged up on Trump like that at the funeral. I'm like, they might have had something going on. I don't know. They might have a little open marriage situation. Allegedly. I mean, I don't know
But
though.
she came out.
I'm gonna say this. If what happened to Charlie happened, if I was in Charlie's position, I'm married with kids and everything like that, and what happened to Charlie happened to me, and my wife gets up there on my memorial and says she forgives the person who did it to me, I would question that. I don't know. A lot of people didn't say that. Like, she said, "Oh yeah, I forgive you." Was you? I'm not saying she was in on it. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, for a grieving wife to have your husband in a public you for
Kind of soon. Very
I
soon.
ain't gonna say
Can I
all
address
right.
that really quick, if you don't mind,
Okay.
Afro?
Yeah, go
Because
ahead. Go ahead.
there's been a lot of points that you guys have stated, and I don't really agree. So I'm gonna just start with the first one. Um, I feel like as humans, right? Politics aside, right? Life is we grow and we learn, right? To say that somebody is a commentator and they're speaking on something, and that to say that they're not allowed to change their stance, or because they changed their stance, it makes them it makes what they're talking on invalid or anything. Like all of those are opinions. Those aren't based on facts. Now
What's
you
your
can say
ethnicity? Could you state that right quick? My bad.
I'm Nigerian and Jamaican. I was born in New York,
All right.
so I'm black basically. So
Nah, you
but
Nigerian and Jamaican. But go ahead.
whatever. Anyways, so basically, two things could be true at the same time. You can say that you might not have liked the way that she was talking on black people when she was at the Daily Wire. You can say that, she picked and chose the hip hop songs, that saying that hip hop was degenerate, but then liking Kanye West's music. We can all agree that there are some hip hop songs that we can play for our family and some hip hop songs that we can't, right? There's stuff that have bad language in it, and there's stuff like that we can play during Christmas, that we can play when we just hit a milestone. There's a lot of motivational rap music, rap songs. You feel me? So that's just a little point, right? But I just feel like in the overall sense, a lot of y'all just really watch clips. You have to go to the episodes and watch it in the entirety and not just take the little clip that you see on TikTok and say, "Oh, that's what she said,"
Do
or
y'all
"Oh, that's,"
okay?
you know what I
Let
mean?
me
Like,
stop you right there.
cause,
Let me stop you.
no, because I watch
Hold
her, I
on. Let me
watch her
stop you right
episodes a
there.
lot.
Let me stop you right there. Well, y'all keep on, and y'all say the same thing about Charlie. Y'all keep on. We taking everything out of context. I cannot take you. There is not a single person who you can take a decade of their commentary out of context. We're taking years and years and years of interviews, of podcasts, of her own statements, of her tweets. All of what she said was out of context, and we only taking that from clips. No, we know exactly what she said. She made it very true, very clear where she stood on everything. Y'all keep saying, "Oh, you taking this?" No. If somebody can be taken out of context that often, they don't need to be speaking. All right, y'all saying that
Gotcha.
because y'all don't want to stay. Y'all really don't want to admit that y'all agree with where she stood on certain issues. So
I mean,
y'all are
I do
saying
agree.
that
I'm
we're
not afraid to admit,
stop. You're saying that we're misinterpreting what
because
her
you are.
stances were. We're not misinterpreting when she makes a whole documentary that George Floyd was overdosed, and it was not Derek Chauvin who took him out. Is that a misinterpretation? Is that a sound bite or taking that out of context? She's made a whole documentary, several
No,
hours of content on that.
that's not a misinterpretation. That's somebody giving their
That's
opinion. I
no,
don't
that's her
agree with her.
stance on that. That's her
Yeah,
stance on that.
that
And
is. I agree with you.
she's made very clear stances on certain things. And then when it
Okay.
comes to another community, she's had a very different stance. Like your community. Very interesting that you said you're Jamaican and what else?
Nigerian.
Jamaican and Nigerian.
Bruh,
She
first of
made
all,
it.
we
No,
are
no, no,
all
no,
the
no, no,
same
no, 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 no,
community.
no, no. It's
So all that
important.
division
It's
talk,
relevant. Stop
y'all
it.
gotta
Stop it,
stop
dude.
that.
Stop.
I'm
No, because
still
it's
black.
relevant. No, it's relevant because she made it abundantly clear that she will not go after your community. She's made it abundantly clear that no matter what y'all do or what goes on in the Caribbean, that she does not criticize the Caribbean and she does not criticize y'all community. But she has all of these criticisms for our community. So for you to come
When
up
did
and
she say
sit up
that?
there, no, 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 that's important. That's
I'm
important.
asking,
Since she
when
said
did she
that,
say that? I'm not arguing.
no, that's important because it's very easy for you guys to come up here and say, well, you know what? I just think that, it's a difference of opinion. And I think that she's right when it comes to certain things, or we're taking her out of context. It's very easy for you all to say that because she did not weaponize false statistics and lies and misinformation on your community. She weaponized that on my community, our community as foundational Black Americans. She weaponized that on our community. So for you guys who have not ever been her target, she targeted us for a good decade. For y'all, for the who were never her target, to come up here in defense is very easy for y'all to do.
No, but I'm just
Wait,
Nigerian
wait,
and
wait, wait,
Jamaican. I
wait.
grew
Did
up
he
in New
say New
York.
York? Did he say New York?
Yes,
Yeah. Yep.
I
Okay,
grew up
good.
in New
Mute
Oh
York.
up,
boy,
mute up,
you
mute
got
up,
BX involved. Okay,
mute
go
up,
ahead.
mute up. Because I
What are
also
y'all talking
heard,
about? Like, what are you
hold
talking?
on, sir, hold on, because I'm being respectful. Hold on.
No,
So
you're not. But go ahead.
Dude, you better
I
stop.
also heard him say division. Stop all that division stuff. Being from New York, I need you to look at the government and look at Yvette Clarke. If you are in Brooklyn, sir, you have no right to come up here. That's the land of gentrifiers, because melanated folks can be gentrifiers too. So if we were all one, there wouldn't be a need for the Caribbean Immigrant Caucus, the Haitian Immigrant Caucus, the African Immigrant Caucus. There wouldn't be a need for the Jamaican Chamber of Commerce, the Haitian Chamber of Commerce. Like there wouldn't be a need for the Caribbean and the Africans, the melanated immigrants, to come here and do things specifically for them. It wouldn't be a little Haiti, there wouldn't be a little Ghana, there wouldn't be a little Senegal, all in New York. Okay? So when I say that we're not all the same, that's what I mean. And we didn't start the division first. Your people did, especially in New York. You know why? They came here from the British Virgin Islands, right? West Indies or whatever that's called. Came here and used a tactic they learned over there and enacted it upon my community so that they can buy homes that we couldn't, right? Okay, fine, buy your homes. But when you're able to sell those homes, they only sold to their own kind. And the disparity between home ownership and Black Americans can be seen today. Sir, cut it out. Do your research, especially if you're in New York. And let's not forget, if you want to take it to the community, how your people told us don't come to Carnival, how they told us we got Harlem, we should just play our music there. Do you know there's an indigenous black population that descends from those who were enslaved in New York? Like, it's not the land of immigrants. Y'all are basically gentrifiers who erases the accomplishments of black Americans. And that parade shouldn't even be on Labor Day because that's a American holiday. And it was my ancestors that fought for the unions, okay? So don't stay divisive when I can look in that government and see Yvette Clarke, who is a proud Jamaican descendant woman, causing all these things and these rifts, right? Because Caribbeans know they're Caribbean when it's time to get something for them. But when they on these panels, they want to talk about we all black, we all one. You ain't saying that shit in Congress. So cut it out.
Can I respond?
No,
Let me jump in. Let me jump in with this. Let me jump in with this.
Go do some
Like
research.
I was saying, it's easy for her to do. It's easy for y'all to do that because you guys have not been victimized by her rhetoric, or you guys didn't have to push back against her rhetoric. Her and Charlie are well known for going around different college campuses and speaking against reparations. She was actually at a reparations hearing in DC. Even though she's not FBA, she was at a reparations hearing in DC speaking against the concept of reparations, speaking about how we don't deserve it, it was too far away, we wouldn't be able to spend it right, spend all of the anti-reparationist talking points when it comes to us in particular, but she does not have that energy when it came to CARICOM. When it comes to CARICOM, who are also advocating for their own reparations, she never disparages CARICOM or the African Union, who are also trying to get their reparations or whatever. You know, she's never disparaged them as far as or used the arguments that she uses against us for our reparations. She does not use that when it comes to other groups of people, the Jamaicans, the Caribbeans, the Africans getting their reparations. So these principles, you're saying people can grow and evolve. No, your principles as an adult pretty much stay the same. Your principle, for the most part, as I can see if you're like 4 or 5 when you're a kid and you're developing. Once you reach adulthood, your principles don't shift that much. Maybe your stance or opinions on certain things may change, but your principles pretty much stay stagnant. Okay,
So
and we've
which one
seen
of her
her principles
principles has
stop.
changed?
We've seen her principles shift
Oh my
where
God.
the money went. Okay, so when speaking against reparations was monetarily beneficial for her, that's what she was doing. Now, when speaking against the Democrats was monetarily beneficial, that's what she was doing. When speaking against George Floyd was beneficial, that's what she was doing. And then when that stopped becoming beneficial because her bosses weren't paying her, even though she said it, her bosses weren't paying her. Now she's speaking against Israel. All right. She goes where the money is because that's her principle, doing what's best for her, not the community. All right.
Okay. Can I respond now?
Go
Can I
ahead.
chime?
That's very interesting. And I want to
Okay, no,
read
no, no. I want to say something real quick. So, number one, right? You said principles have changed. What? Hold on. What principles did she have before that has changed now?
what
Because
principles.
principles and beliefs, and also like just what she knew based on the information and the data that she
No,
had in
dude.
front of her.
Okay.
Let me
Here's the thing.
finish. I just listened
You're
to you.
asking a question. I'm gonna answer it.
Okay, cool. But let me finish my question though, right? Are
Finish
you
your
gonna let me
question.
finish my
Go ahead.
question?
Finish the question.
Because when you say somebody lives by principles, right? It is all based on their beliefs. It's based on the data that's shown in front of them and what they're aware of. Because if somebody doesn't want you to know certain pieces of information, and you have to actually go down a rabbit hole to find it, that is a good cause to shift your stance on certain things. So, what principles did she
So
have
yeah, I
before?
guess you can change your principles depending on who you work for. Okay. What and then let me give you this, and I'm gonna give you this, and then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna give you the fact that she's going around
How
and
are we
talking
gonna
about hold
move
on, no,
on
no,
though?
no, 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 no,
So
no.
you just
You
want to be
asked the
right? You don't
question.
want to
No, you
debate
asked
it?
the question. You asked the question. I'm gonna answer your question, then we're gonna move on. When she talks about degeneracy, when she talks about hip hop being degenerate, when she talks about black culture being degenerate, quote unquote fatherlessness, very interesting. Follow me. fatherlessness in the black community being the number one cause of degeneracy, the number one cause of crime and thuggery and all of that stuff, when she's speaking on black Americans and how we fell off after the welfare and all of that stuff, when she's speaking on that, and she gets stories, if she finds out that those stories are about Caribbean people, she decides not to speak on it. And she said that herself, that she gets stories about Caribbean people and say, no, I'm not going to do that because that's going to make them look bad. Okay. So when it comes
Said
to
that verbatim, what you just said?
no, let me finish. When it comes to speak, quote unquote, correcting the community and having tough love, that's what she was saying when she was on the Breakfast Club, that she was just trying to help the community by saying certain things that are tough and maybe hard to hear and all of that stuff. She was saying that when she was on the Breakfast Club. I think she also had an interview with Joe Budden, if I'm not mistaken, as well too. She was talking about how she was trying to help the community, but then later on confessed that actually she was saying that because she was encouraged by her bosses when she was working for the Daily Wire to speak on the black American community, and she rejected stories that would make the Caribbean look bad. She's already confessed to this. So her principles about fatherlessness, and we can talk about crazy amounts of paternity fraud and fatherlessness all throughout the Caribbean. Don't get me started on the Caribbean and Africa with all the paternity fraud and fatherlessness and children born out of wedlock outside of America, which she doesn't criticize, but she has all that criticism for here because she said, this is what she said, she was encouraged to speak against the black American community. That's not a principle. That's you doing what's in your best interest for your pockets.
Okay, cool. And I agree with that, right? She used to work for the Daily Wire. She no longer works for them for a majority of reasons. That can also be it, as long as I'm able to research that and confirm what you're saying. But I'll take your word for it for now, right? There's
Okay.
a multitude of reasons why she doesn't work for the Daily Wire anymore. And the main one is because they have a certain agenda that they were trying to push, right? A lot of their donors are Jewish people. A lot of their donors,
That don't matter
a
why she
lot.
don't work for the Daily Wire. It doesn't matter,
That's one
honestly.
of the biggest reasons. What are you
It
talking about?
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if her content and her principles were about correcting the community and having this tough law for the community, she would
Okay.
have that even if she's independent now. She would still be
So are
making
you
the
saying that
same
our community has no problems?
stop because you're disproving your own point.
No, I'm not.
If she believed in what she was saying when she was working for Turning Point USA, when she was working for PragerU, or when she was working for the Daily Wire, she would be saying the same things when she's independent. Why is she saying something completely different now that she's independent versus what she was saying when she was with the Daily Wire, PragerU, and Turning Point USA?
Because when you're under a certain
Dude,
entity that wants to push a certain are you, oh wait, what are you talking about? You haven't even heard what I said. You already disagree.
My turn to go, young man, and I've been patiently waiting. Like honestly.
I'm talking to the host,
No,
but you
no,
can
no.
go.
But
It's all
you're
good.
overreaching now because you're repeating the
I'm
same
not I'm
stuff.
not arguing with you. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, thank you. So there's a couple of things that the reason why she's a grifter. She had past liberal views with the Tea Party in 2015. So we could start there where she shifted from left to right. That's just the starting point. We could talk about the Blexit, right? She's not a black American. She's not a Negro. She's not from U.S. chattel slavery. But she's telling black people to exit the Democrat Party as if she's authority on an ethnic group and how we should align ourselves politically. That's another grift. I can go through with her not even using her last name, changing her last name when she married this white T man, if you want to get all personal with it too. She didn't want to, she's still rocking the maiden name of Owens so she could still try to grift and continue to be a part of a community that she's not a part of. All right. Then we can also point out to the Blackout book, her merchandising off of Black American and our lingo and our situation and our political ideologies or whatnot. That's her thinking that she can merchandise off of blackness. Like it's crazy that I have to go through and run through a list for some of these goofies, such as this man off to the left of me on the panel, who keeps saying like he has a designation to speak because he thinks he has the same skin color as us, when his ideology and his bloodline don't match. You almost got 2 strikes and you going on your 3rd strike, and you should be out of here, man. Like, I'm
I
tired
don't.
of you
It's
guys
not gonna affect me
distracting
if you
from the
move me. What is gonna
conversation
affect me
when
is
we
you
specifically
guys are
talking
not
about how
open
she's
to have
grifting.
dialogue. Like
No, no,
you're
no, no.
just
It's
throwing
no
shots.
dialogue when
That's
you
what
don't
people
even
with
have
no
any
basis do.
facts
No,
when it comes to
Like
talking about what she's grifting
the
off of.
first two
And I
seconds I
just
want to
mentioned
speak, you
about
guys
four
cut
or
me
five
off.
of them
Like
no.
straight
We
down the
we
road.
heard you. We heard
We
you.
heard you, and I patiently
I was just
waited.
about to respond, but you said you
No,
wanted
it
to
No,
ain't nothing
speak.
for you to
me
respond
and
to.
you've
You
been
need to
going
just
back
take
and
these
forth for a
lickings.
minute, dude. We've heard you. We know
You
your
No,
know,
but
just
stance on
okay,
it.
cool. But okay, cool, right? You can't just say you know my stance if you don't let me
man,
No,
I
we
finish.
sat
know
back
your
and
stance.
patiently
You've made
waited,
your
bro.
stance on what we have with clear. You've made your stance very clear, dude. We've heard what you had to say.
Okay. Okay, so what is my stance?
So
Your
it
stance
doesn't
is that
matter.
people
How about that?
shift,
It doesn't matter what
okay,
my
and
stance
people
is.
learn quote unquote new information. I've been paying very close attention. People learn new information, and that she's not a grifter. She just learned new information, and she just adjusts to the new information that she learned. That's been your stance and your argument the whole time you've been speaking.
I also said that two things can be true at the same time, right? For example,
What do you
one
think?
thing that she
Listen,
has been a
stop,
big
stop, stop
comment.
right there,
Oh
Mr.
my
Tether,
God,
man.
can I
Stop.
speak?
Hold on. Let me
Golly,
ask
let
you
me
this one
speak.
question. Let me ask
What's
you.
up with
What do
y'all,
you
man?
stop,
Like
stop,
what?
stop? Because if you don't stop, I'm gonna stop you. Don't make me have to do that. What do you think of the situation with George Floyd?
I don't. Okay, so she said that he didn't
No,
die
what
by
do you
the
think?
knee to the
You,
neck.
not Candace. What do you think?
I mean, I saw the video. He was on his neck for a long period of time, and I do know that it is positive that he was on drugs as well. So I think both played a part. I don't
Both
think
play.
that it
No, no, no,
was.
no, no.
Oh,
Only.
Yes,
No, 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 no. That see, very interesting, very telling.
I'm not
Only
saying that
one
the
thing.
drugs
No,
was
no,
the
no,
overall
no,
be
no.
all.
Because
Obviously,
listen,
if he
life.
wasn't,
Listen.
if he
No,
didn't have
be
a knee on
quiet,
his
dude.
neck, he wouldn't
Be
have
quiet.
died.
Shut, shut,
Obviously,
shut up. Shut up, Tether, dude.
no, you gotta have respect, even though it's your
No, no.
panel.
I
Don't
don't
tell
have
me
to
to shut
have
up.
respect for you. I don't have to have respect for you. This is my house. You have respect for me as the host. Don't overtalk me. You don't have the. This is not no democracy here. And see, this only goes to to verify and validate why tethers are a problem. Okay? Because they're not being attacked like our community is being attacked. But when we try to hold the attacker accountable, here he comes in defense.
Giving out the N-word pass too. They are a problem, especially in New York. I already mentioned Yvette Clark. Very embarrassing to the city. I gotta say this. And we do know that I have friends, family from all creeds and colors and stuff. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. We're not migrating out to their islands, their black nations, and changing the scheme of things. They are actually migrating here and getting in our government. There's a bill by a Haitian American, and I think it was said yesterday on your panel and Leo's panel about a Haitian American trying to use our collective network and incentive, how you call it, give incentives to Haiti. I ain't never going to Haiti. I ain't got no connection to Haiti. I ain't even got no family in Haiti. I may make a donation to a GoFundMe, but I don't want a bill that requires any of us to not have a choice in how we do whatever. Like, stop putting us on with y'all programs. Y'all are getting enough. There's already a Haitian Chamber of Commerce and a Haitian Immigrant Caucus. These people are actually getting funding sent to their homelands. What did y'all migrate for? Like, when do y'all go back and fix that? They are gentrifiers too. And even 1% of immigration can harm a foundational Black American community. These are all the things that we are finding out, right? I think we've extended ourselves enough to them. And all we're saying is leave us alone and let us do what we got to do for us. And then we're labeled divisive. But I look at my Congress and they all up and in there voting no and publicly saying they won't do nothing for us, but never speaking about their agencies, never going against CARICOM, never going against this and that for them. There's always something wrong. We're doing something for foundational Black Americans. I'm tired of all of that. So now if I got to be seen as a bigot or hateful because I'm telling y'all the truth, Jamaicans have never stood in full alliance with foundational Black Americans. Can we have one or two friends from those ethnic groups? Of course. But collectively, they are not for us. And my friends got to understand the difference of being a writer and being a damn tether. Or they can't be my friend. And what we're finding is too many tethers and not enough riders. That's aggravating. And then he don't even come up here to listen to learn. He just want to know. But I'm saying though, and it's always them New Yorkers. And can y'all believe we don't even have the most immigrants here? We're not number one in immigrant land. Melanated, of course, I'm talking about. Like enough is enough from them.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay out our way.
And of course, he got up here and tried to act like he was, well, I'm Nigerian and black, but I'm Nigerian and Jamaican. Yeah, I'm just black. No, you're a Nigerian Jamaican tether coming into black, using your blackness to come into black spaces
Right.
and disrupt and detract from the conversation, baby. You doing the same thing. Who you defending is doing, Candace Owens. Please.
Yep. And they like that stuff because when our community gets attacked and villainized and their community doesn't, it makes their community look better in comparison. That's why they like all that stuff. They like when they talk about, oh, Juneteenth is ghetto and all that stuff. They're not saying that the Caribbean or Carnival is ghetto. They're not going to say that, but they're going to say our holidays are ghetto. They're going to say our music is ghetto. They're not saying anything else is ghetto. So to them, it makes them look better in comparison. So they like a Candace Owens. They like that.
Right.
Let's continue, and then we'll. I feel like the panel here, and then
Can I?
start wrapping stuff up. But everybody tap the screen. We almost at 100K. Come on, now, everybody tap, 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 tap.
I'm in a very peculiar situation
Where
being on
where are
this
you
panel
from, though,
because
sis?
I'm
Where you from?
Jamaican.
Where you from, man?
I'm
You
Jamaican.
okay? Okay.
Two things, as the guy was saying earlier, can be true, and this is just to what was said on the panels. You do have Jamaicans and Caribbean people that are of the views of a Candace Owens. I will honestly say that, and I was surprised myself hearing some of their views. But you also have Jamaicans that are Caribbean people that are in full-fledged support, and I'll try to break it down. I'm not in no way, shape, or form in agreement with anything that comes out of Candace Owens' mouth. But this is where I'll try to break it down as it relates to the Caribbean diaspora and Black Americans. We face similar brainwashing, for want of a better word, right? And though we are predominantly Black countries, we do face the brainwashing in a different way. While we don't face racism upright or upfront, similar to what is being seen here, we do face colorism and we do face classism, speaking as a Jamaican, right? So I'm saying that to lay the foundation to explain that the brainwash is similar. So just like how you have Black Americans that voted against their best interest, you do have Caribbean people that are of the same views like the Black Americans that would vote against Black Americans. But that's not the vast majority of people.
Before you continue, what would have been in Black Americans' best interest? That's what I want to know. Like, how can a Caribbean tell us Black Americans voted against their best interest?
Isn't there a whole thing on TikTok about the 92%?
I'm not. So is 92% the right way to vote? It should be my question then.
If we're speaking about Candace Owen on this particular
No, you said
platform
like some
and
Black
her beliefs,
Americans voted against their best interests. I'm asking you, you're Caribbean. How could you tell a Black American voted against their best interests? That's what I want to know. It's a valid question, ma'am.
if the majority of a particular set of people are saying that this is what we want and this is in our best interest, then the minority that voted in the opposite direction of that, wouldn't that be in the opposite direction of what is considered to be the best
Listen to
interest
this.
of the
Who
majority?
was the least likely to lead the plantation? Who said I can't stand under these conditions no more? And who was the majority? You know what I'm saying? The majority thought the least amount of people was crazy for wanting to be free and leaving, right? So you really can't, as a Jamaican, I don't think you could tell us who's in our best interest, not by that manner, because we go by
Okay.
policy, not by numbers. We have to go by policy. Now, Kamala was not in our best interest. She said she would not do anything specifically for Black people. She then went and touched our Freedmen's Bank. Do you even know what the Freedmen's Bank is, ma'am? Right, so she didn't do nothing to help Black Americans. That was the issue. Kamala was not our best interest. She wasn't.
I think what we're
And
failing
you,
to
as a
see here.
Jamaican, can't make that call for any. One
Listen.
moment, I'm gonna land. You can't make that call for any Black American. And 92%, I'm pretty sure the Afro-descendant immigrants was in that number too. They weren't all Black Americans.
Okay, so in your estimation then, or in your opinion, the best interest of America or of Black Americans is what we're seeing right now. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay,
Yes,
well,
that
let's
gotta
not,
go.
because we're gonna leave the I think you missed the point of what BX was
Going
saying.
over
You're missing the point. But what BX is trying to convey is that
So let me ask this
hold on,
question before I come off.
because then we're
No,
gonna get
you
into
can't. I wanted
Harris
to
and Trump,
ask you
and we're
why
not
would you
getting.
speak
That's
for
not
Black
the
Americans?
conversation. Okay, I want to say one thing, as far as the brainwashing and stuff, and I've tried to within the last 2 years or so, especially this year, learn as much about foreign policy and geopolitics as possible. Okay, so I understand about the stuff going on in the Caribbean to a degree. I'm not going to say I'm Caribbean. I understand it all the way, but I understand to a degree. I understand about the brainwashing and the colorism and all of the issues going on over there and the socializing of anti-blackness. I understand that to a degree of the Caribbean and of Africa. We get it. I get it. I totally understand that. My thing is that if you understand about the brainwashing that goes on in the Caribbean, and we have this conversation, we do this a lot, and Caribbeans come up and they say, well, we got to understand about the brainwashing that goes on in the Caribbean, the brainwashing that goes on in Africa. They've programmed us to be this way. They programmed us to be this way. If that is the case, you all need to be the main people pushing back against all of the colonized mindset. You guys need to be the main people pushing back against and sanitizing all of the indoctrination and the brainwashing that comes up. But the thing is, no, you saying you do, but we don't really see that. The thing is that when we
Can I
talk, hold
ask one
on,
question?
because when us as foundational Black Americans say something, you all talk about the brainwashing and use that as an excuse to say, hey, well, you got to understand it's not his fault, really. You got to understand it's not his fault. But the thing is that you all have been in America long enough to say, okay, let's sanitize and relearn from the colonized mindset that we left our country from. But we don't see that effort from the Caribbean, or really from Black from immigrants at all. We don't see that effort. We see the colonization and we see the brainwashing, which I admit does happen. We see that being used as an excuse for us to sit up there and overlook or dismiss all of the anti-Blackness and the ethnic attacks that come from outsiders. Okay.
They have a choice. This is what I say. We know who the main enemy is, right? We know who created all the systems and isms, but they allow themselves to be a pawn, and they in turn turn around and treat us. They lend to our oppression and our subjugation. I already mentioned, I'm not sure if Shay was in the room, but I already mentioned how they migrated here and how they locked us out of home ownership. Yvette Clarke calls for more immigrants to Brooklyn, calling it the Jamaica's, 15th parish or something like that. And then she said, this is what she said that got me in my little tizzy. We understand about the people who were forced here, but now it's time to move forward. Some mess. We're just going to erase the indigenous Black population who basically built this a superpower. We were also the first body sold on Wall Street, so we were the commodity that kicked off the economy. And we're just going to say that so you could call more immigrants to Brooklyn. Like y'all do a lot of things that go against foundational Black Americans. And just because you see 92% voted Democrat does not mean those 92% was right. Because if Kamala would have stayed in there, then what? But we ain't going to go there. All I'm going to say is leave Americans out of your equation when you're talking about brainwashing, or you're going to be met with resistance because y'all are in an alliance collectively. Collectively is the key word with us, and we see that in our government. So this isn't something, I'm not in my feelings. It's not something about my feelings. My feelings are because I researched what the Caribbean is doing and how the harm it is to my people, ma'am. So I'm not for unity at this time with
Hold on,
anybody.
let me say this, and I'm gonna let you land. We're gonna be fair, and I'm gonna let you land. But when it comes to the indoctrination, I first off, I understand because I study history as much as I possibly can, and I study what goes on currently as much as possible. Okay, I can understand where you all are coming from if it was the direct immigrants. Follow me. If it was the direct immigrants who had to be indoctrinated and pass screenings to come to America, and y'all had this self-hate and anti-blackness, I wouldn't agree, but I can understand why that happened. But the thing is that we're seeing this from the first and second, to be honest, generation immigrants. We're seeing this from people who were born and raised here. They didn't get indoctrinated before they came to America. They were born and raised here. Kai Cenat, born and raised here. Candace Owens, born and raised here. A lot of these people that we're having the issue with today, most of them were born and raised here. So that means that there is not a strong enough, I'm not saying it's not on, but there's not a strong enough effort to sanitize and relearn from that indoctrination. There's not enough because your children are acting the same exact way, even though they're born and raised here. Kai Cenat, there was other immigrants talking about we should be grateful for Haiti for 1804 because that's what led to Black Americans being free. And there's been other people talking about how we don't have no culture. There was a Caribbean woman some years ago talking about how she don't want Black Americans in a couple of them talking about how she didn't want Black Americans in Carnival. They're young. They're born and raised here, which shows culturally that there has not been a strong enough effort made to clean or to to sanitize all of the colonization and the colonized mindset. That stuff is still being passed down. So we can't keep using the excuse that y'all got that from your homeland because you're not making a strong enough effort to divorce yourself from that mindset.
Right. And that tactic they learned to lock us out of home ownership over here, they found out how to do that in the British West Indies. So they come here with a mindset from their homeland against us. I've been told it's a competition. I've been told we're too spoiled. Meanwhile, you check Black Americans' history, we champion Pan-Africanism the most. So, and it's just tiring. So when I say my people, I think that was Takesha, I mean foundational Black Americans who built this country. That's who I mean, my people.
Can I jump in? I'd like to say something I think that we don't talk about. They come here because they allowed the Asians and the Southeast Asians to take over their own country. They can't even go in some stores there. There's places they're not allowed to be. So then you come here and you have the mitigated gall to think that you can compete with me, lock me out. And see, I'm from Cali, born and raised. Our issues with them are a lot different because we don't have as much close proximity to them as maybe you do on the East Coast or maybe the Midwest. But as I'm listening to BX and Afro and the different people, and if I don't say your name, blame it on my head, not my heart. And I listen to it, it just makes my blood boil because I know what my parents went through. My father, born and raised in Virginia, and had to ride in the back of the bus, knew about that. My mother, they have sundown towns in California also. We're not going to mix, apples and oranges, but we know that they do also. And the fact that you would come over here, we've got to have legislation that if you are not FBA, how dare you run for a seat? Because you're trying to give my money away to somebody else. That's the epitome of disrespect. You got your hand in my pocket, and you're denigrating my neighborhood. I can't buy where I want to buy. You need to go back home.
Okay,
And that's
so
my whole chest, and I'm 10 toes down.
so
You need to
let
go
me.
back
I'm
home.
trying to address a couple of the points that I've heard on here that are one far from the truth, and two um, as I said before when I came on, that two things can be true. And I was trying to take accountability for the fact that there are still persons here and in the Caribbean that have a certain mindset, and that yes, there needs to be more of an awareness that is brought to the how we even view Black Americans. I did admit that, and I did bring that to the fore when I just came on, right? What I'm saying is we can't speak about the Caribbean on a whole, like the Caribbean has not contributed anything at all to the what we consider to be Black American history. Black American history is literally the melting pot of other countries'
Oh,
history,
there we
Oh,
go.
there you
right?
go.
Oh yes, it
What's
always get
going
there.
on with
It always
the
gets to that
Jamaican?
point.
What
Can I finish?
Caribbean?
Can I finish and
No,
then you guys
what
can.
Caribbean? I'm interested in knowing what Caribbean helped foundational Black American culture.
I'm not gonna get to finish to say the point that I'm trying to make without anybody
Right,
like
because I
jumping in
want to
and
know
asking a
that.
question
Because it's
in the
like
middle of me making a point.
misinformation. Like y'all just learn one piece of our history. You never learn the other
I'm not
side. So
saying
I'm
that I'm
waiting for
not
you to
in
name
any
it.
way, shape, or form diminishing anything that the Black American
But
experience
first
is.
off, I'm gonna be
I'm
very
simply
honest,
just
man.
saying
We
that
can have this conversation maybe another time, but what does that have to do with Candace? Whether that's true or not true, okay? Because that's gonna lead us to a whole nother conversation about where y'all contributed, if y'all contributed anything, or how much that was. What does that have to do with Candace? Because you first came up trying to low key defend the person who came up, or at least excuse the behavior of the
I was
other
in
person who
no way,
came
shape,
up,
or
and
form
now
defending
we're
him,
on a
and I'm
subject
not.
that ain't got nothing to do with the
I'm
prompts.
not defending him. I was simply just
How, wait. You see how they are allowed to have their own autonomy, but our culture is the melting pot? Well, guess what? Those days are over.
Right.
There is no melting pot. And that's why I asked you for names so I could give you the other side of it. If you was gonna mention Marcus Garvey, then they had the whole Go Home Garvey movement, right? So your people who come here and you think they're so intricate in something, there's a whole nother side to them that offended Black Americans at one point in time, and we were just through with them. So you can't always, and that's why I say it's a cultural difference, and a Caribbean will never look through the same lens as a Black American. Y'all all operate off of skin and melanation. That's what y'all do. And then y'all want to say we're all the same, but in that government and in your social networking, right? Because you utilize that social networking, we're not the same. Y'all are locking us out of things, ma'am. I gave you tangibles that you could go research. Really. There's a Jamaican lady on like 5, 6 boards, and she has secured funding for Jamaica and Haiti. She dropped?
Yeah, she dropped. Now here's the
Right.
thing.
Because
You
she can't
now I
defend
was
her
going
point.
to we were going to let her speak, but the thing is that now you're taking this off subject. She's took this completely off subject. Well, what about what the Caribbean contributed? Whether that's true or not true, that's a whole nother conversation that had nothing to do with Candace. She came up and was starting to talk. She came up and excused, which is what she was doing. Even though she came up and said she disagreed, I will give her credit for that. She came up and said, I disagree with everything Candace has to say, but you got to understand the brainwashing and all of this stuff and all of this stuff. She was trying to give him an out, a pass, to say, really, it's not his fault. And this is why I had to say, why do y'all keep doing that? Because y'all keep using the colonization as an excuse for y'all behavior. All right. You don't agree, but you're not going to check him, but you're going to kind of tell us we need to calm down, or be a little bit gracious because of colonization and because of brainwashing. So that's how she came off, which spiraled into the conversation that we had. Now, we were going to let her speak, but we've been on for a few hours anyway, so we're going to wrap things up. But that is what she tried to do.
She do, and
Okay?
I'm so
That's what
glad
she
that we
tried to
had
do.
checked that voting thing, because I already was catching on what she said. Oh yeah, our experiences, it's just like Black Americans. Like, we are not that. Whenever they try to come in and try to seem like we are the same, we are not the same. We do not have the same experience. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if your country had we may went through similar things historically, but we are not the same. There are distinct differences between our groups, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that she tried to slyly put that in there, it showed her her true intention
Yeah.
was, and that's why she went to that at the end. It's just a melting pot.
Yeah, to make this a false equivalent. She tried to make a
Mm-hmm.
false equivalent by saying, well, I mean, yeah, there are some Caribbeans that are wrong, but there are Black Americans who vote against their own interests too. So
Right.
if we're wrong, y'all wrong, and everybody wrong, y'all can't just call the Caribbeans out. So
Nah, and it don't work
that
like
was
that.
where she was going. We're not new to this. That's where she was going with that. Um, a couple of people they dropped, and I understand that. We've been kind of having a dialogue. We're gonna let a couple people up real quick,
And
but we're gonna get to Juju and then Omega. We're gonna maybe wrap things up. Let them up
yeah,
because
I gotta get
y'all
this
gotta
race
become
treatment about
fans
my
now.
hair.
Y'all gotta become fans.
I told you I gotta get this race treatment up out my hair. So
Yeah, we wrap.
you gotta grab this up. Go ahead.
Me?
Juju got.
Uh, so for ethnicity, I'm Italian, Dominican, and Jewish mixed.
Oh boy.
Because y'all gonna ask ethnicity. I believe that Candace is a grifter. Like I used to like her until like with the whole BLM thing where she justified what happened to George Floyd. That's one, and she started to become like more of my no longer support list with when she defended Kanye West's anti-Semitic rants, and then she ended up becoming a full-on anti-Semite a year later, promoting like anti-Semitic remarks and conspiracy theories. Like around the time with the current war with Israel and Palestine. But yeah. But one thing I will say before I leave, BX, I really like you as a mod because you don't take any BS from anybody.
Thank you,
No,
Juju.
the gatekeeper for a reason. It's BS the gatekeeper for a reason. She live up to the legend. I'm gonna tell you that. All right.
Anyway, thank you for having me up here.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let's get to Omega.
B1 panel. B1 to
B1.
everybody on the panel. I'm
What's up?
FBA out of Florida.
You said what?
FBA out of Florida. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
All right, my bad, man. Yeah, Candace Owens is definitely a grifter, man. Like the one lady alluded to earlier in the panel, I heard she was talking about how she used the NAACP, kind of like a shield so that she can go after these different organizations early in her career and then progress into, being with the likes of, excuse my language, but fucking Charlie Kirk. I mean, it don't get much more of a chameleon type deal than that type of thing. You can put on all types of different fronts, and that's pretty much what she's done throughout her career. She's been on whatever side is paying, and it always comes back to us. And I'm waiting on the pendulum to swing again, because the foundation of every grifter's grift is anti-black racism. Shout out Torian Rain. But I'll land my plane now, bro.
Yep. Salute to Torian. Thank you very much, brother. We'll get to Kirkatron TV, and then my good brother Tell It Like It Is. We'll close it out there.
Okay. Hello, everybody. FBA. As far as the Candace the Grifter, yeah, I mean, I used to follow her to a certain extent, especially during the whole Kamala Harris documentary. She said a lot of things about Kamala Harris, which I had a lot of suspect that she wasn't being on the up and up about a lot of things. And I give her props for that. I mean, if anything, she did good on that. But otherwise, who she is as a person, I never really trusted or liked her because she always had these sleazy talking points. Especially after I found out she was from the West Indies. I'm like, yeah, okay. My stepfather warned me about West Indians like that, so I kind of understood where she was coming from. But I never really had any really favor towards her. Not much at all.
Yep. That's
one more thing.
you can't. Broken clock is right twice a day. I mean, yeah, she was right about criticizing Harris and the Democrats and Biden and all that stuff. But let's be honest, she wasn't the only one saying that. People make it seem like she was groundbreaking. Not really. She didn't say nothing nobody else wasn't saying. Like, if folks be really giving her a lot of props and praise when it came to the election that, I feel like was unwarranted. Even if we give it to her, what else? Right. Even if we give that to her, what else?
Yeah, she's
what I'm saying? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Let's stop. Let's stop lying about what people was caping for. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
She's cute. But one thing I have one thing to say about the woman said about the last lady, the Shag, whatever her name was. There was a brother from the West Indies named Hubert James during the Renaissance period who was actually helping Black Americans with identifying who we were as a people. His name was Hubert James. He was a writer. So there was some brothers from the Caribbean that did kind of help a little bit.
Said one name and then said brothers. Here's the issue with the Caribbean, right? They learn about one person who we always knew about and then come and say the Caribbean started the Harlem Renaissance. The Haitians aren't exempt from this statement. They are actually telling Louisiana Creoles that Louisiana Creoles is a knockoff of them and they are the real Haitians. Like, they don't know how to share culture anymore. They don't know how to respectfully pay homage to our lineage, right, and then tell their history. Because had it not been for us, Hubert, whoever you said, would not have any standing on this land, right? There's a reason why we don't know Hubert. Maybe you think he's more important than he actually was. Because Alain Leroy Locke was the father of the Harlem Renaissance, right? Yes. So here's the issue. And then they bring up Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey was sitting with the Triple K. So there's always two sides of a coin. And why do we need a Caribbean to help identify us? Why wasn't he doing it for his people? And this is the issue. Just like with hip hop, right? You let some people participate, then they say they created everything. Meanwhile, we all know that's been going on since the 1930s. It was just birthed a different way in the Bronx. Like, we just got to stop this. Why do people know that name that you said over Booker T. Washington, who was foundational and his institute is still standing? Why do we know all these other people and we don't spotlight our own? It's time to spotlight our own. And the Caribbean is so proud of being Caribbean. Go fix the Caribbean. We don't need their help. One person couldn't carry a movement that people were already knee deep in. And that's the harm of Pan-Africanism. Because our people get overshadowed and all these other people. And this is why they running around here, especially in New York, acting like they bumped their head. Okay. It's aggravating.
I know. I'm from New York City too.
We're gonna wrap things. We gotta wrap things up shortly.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, but thank you, bro. My brother, tell it like it is. What's going on, brother? Talk to us.
We got up with y'all. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm always missing your TikTok lives, bro. So I'm glad I caught you at least at the tail end. But I heard the conversation that has been going on, and I'm gonna say straight out the gate. You know where I'm at with this. Candace Owens is one of the biggest grifters known to man. Okay, just like the last brother said a couple of calls back, or a couple of speaks back. This is the same girl that used the NAACP specifically to go after the Board of Education for her high school where she was getting racially bullied, and then turned around in Congress, sat her ass in the Congress with that dry ass wig, or them dry ass struggle edges, talking about how racism wasn't a problem, and she had those white folks smiling at her. And to touch on the situation with Marcus.
You breaking up a little
real quick.
You broke up. We can't hear you.
Marcus Garvey didn't. Oh shit, man. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. You breaking up.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. What part did you hear last?
Something about Marcus Garvey.
Okay, yeah. So as far as Marcus Garvey is concerned, he didn't help us. We helped him. He had to come to us because the people in Jamaica wasn't standing on business, and that's just the thick of it. And when he went back to Jamaica after they deported him, he left and went to England because he was so disgusted but with what he saw when he got back to Jamaica. He saw that the people there didn't change and their conditions got worse.
Mm.
So that so when he left, he went to and he died in England. If I'm not mistaken, that's where he relocated to.
Yeah.
So
Yep. I think
yeah,
that
so
is. Yeah.
she and Candace Owens, her as far as she concerned, what I'm saying, that's the pedigree that she's from. We talking about pedigree here. These are the same people that rushed to Ethiopia to undermine us and get the land that Haile Selassie set aside for foundational Black Americans to come and live, and they went and pretended like they was us. They've been cosplaying us. They've been shouting us.
Yeah. Man,
So
we gotta call it out. We gotta call these problems out. That's the only way we're gonna move ahead.
right. So I mean, yeah, she's a grifter, and she ain't gonna stop grifting because that money too good.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
true.
that's all.
That's true. She is. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. That's my good brother. Tell it like it is from YouTube. He came all the way over here. He wanted to be a part of the conversation. I'm glad you were able to make it. Even at the tail end, glad you were able to make it. All right. Y'all make sure you guys follow on For the Culture on YouTube. For the Culture on YouTube. Okay. So you can listen to the playback if you want to catch from the beginning to the end. We got a lot of good content, a lot of good lives, a lot of good stuff on there. Go to For the Culture on YouTube. You got to go there. Okay. That's where the playback of this will be. So y'all get to listen to a premiere playback. It's a great live, very interactive chat room and all that stuff. Great. For the Culture on YouTube. Zizi, you have any closing statements?
Closing statements, closing thoughts. Yeah, Candace is definitely a grifter. I definitely appreciate the panel because everybody bought a lot of receipts to back that up, so that was good to hear. But yeah, that's not something I thought that was a well-known, damn near fact, to be honest, at this point. I just thought everybody kind of considered that it was, but it is what it is, she has an audience. She knows who to cater to, who to pander to. And those who are going to, continue to fall for the anti-Black rhetoric is just going to have to learn the hard way, just like she will. So it is what it is. They always break their tools after they use them. So she won't last for long. She ain't nothing new.
Yeah, that's true. There's a couple of people who are requesting to speak. If you guys want to speak, y'all want to say something, y'all just follow. We're wrapping things up. We've been on here for a few hours now, so it's time for us to wrap things up. So you guys follow so you guys can join the next conversation. If y'all like these conversations, like these topics, want us to pick this back up again, y'all let us know. Let me know. Follow, and you guys can join the conversation. Just tell it like it is. He came from YouTube. He followed from YouTube so he can join the conversation. So that's what y'all got to do. Y'all got to be passionate and consistent, all right, about it.
I'd like to say something before you do sign out. Don't go for that play if it's a melting pot. That's the way of them not acknowledging our greatness. Look what has happened to Jamaica. It's a melting pot. That's a lie from the pit of hell. And they've taken those people, they've stripped them of what their own ownership, and they have to come here. So I want my FBI.
Oh,
A melting pot for us. And I land my plane.
that's true. That's true. Like I said, y'all, we've been going for a little bit. Some people said they missing me, and I miss you guys, okay? And we've been going for a little bit, but we back, and we better than ever, okay? For the Culture is back like we never left, and we back better than ever, okay? Go to For the Culture. Great stuff here, the great stuff already there. Great stuff now. Great stuff in the future. Y'all got to go to that channel. That channel was the hype. That channel was what's popping right now, was busting right now. Y'all got to go over there. And thank you guys for your gifts, the likes, the shares. To the people listening on YouTube, y'all know we love you. We love you. Okay, we like this. 2 peas and pod. Thank you guys. BX, close us out, please.
Yes, I want to say this. The One Flat Blackness no longer works for us because we've seen that they've had ways to basically get what they want and lock us out. So they know conveniently we ain't all black and it's not all one blackness when they're getting things off of their immigrant status and their lineage, whether that lineage is Haitian or some type of Caribbean or some type of African. They are really getting things and their representatives are really activating for them, right? Their advocacy pales in comparison to us, to how they activate for us or advocate for us. And all we're saying is we're going to do it on our own. Don't be fooled by we need the numbers. We ain't never needed the numbers. We went through enslavement, Reconstruction, redlining, and Jim Crow on our own before these people were allowed to migrate here in such mass numbers, right? And so we've done all we could do, and we'd be a fool to try to continue under one flat blackness with them when they've been identifying and winning things as being Caribbean, Haitian, African of some sort. So I want to say that, and they're also giving, and if they could speak as if they are us or speak on matters that pertain to us, they're not doing a good job. They will never see things from our lens. I'm always open to have the conversation because they're not a monolith either, right? So I'm operating off of the collective who I don't see the writers in these groups who are coming up to speak. It's always a but, or it's not all of us. So I would like to ask Afro, when they come up, if we could see what solutions they have after they give their spiel. Because really, that lady wouldn't be a writer because we would need her to vote our way in the best interest of FBA to disband the Congressional Black Caucus, correct? Mm-hmm. Right? And if she thinks that 92% represents the whole, but we were saying Kamala wasn't a good choice, she's not going to rise for us to vote for another candidate. I'll land there and let that marinate for whenever the conversation comes up again. But I'm always willing for the conversation because you never know who's listening, doesn't want to interact, but they're learning. So I'm always open for the combo. Thank you again, Afro Elite. This was a great live. And I got to ask you, when are you coming back live on TikTok?
I want to come back live tomorrow. We got some big stuff on for the culture, and I want to make sure that we get that stuff. I want to make sure that we get that stuff together. Right now, hold on for 1 second, y'all. Give me one second. Since a lot of people want to, join. A lot of people want to do the thing. Hold on for 1 second. 1 second, please. All right. This For the Culture page right here, this page right here. Y'all follow this page. Y'all, if y'all want to watch the playback, everybody click the page. Y'all got 10 seconds. Click the page right here and then just follow the page. The link is in bio. All right. Make it very, very, very easy. Okay. The link is in bio. This is the official For the Culture TikTok page. Go to the official For the Culture TikTok page. Go to the link in bio. The rest of the social media will be right there. All right. So that, because a lot of people like, what's the channel again? What's the channel again? And I can't write anything in the chat room. So bam, the page is right there. Now, with that being said, family, you all have a good night. And we will definitely be back. We back better than ever. For the Culture is back better than ever. Thank you guys very much for that. Y'all make sure y'all follow for the next time. And y'all have a good rest of y'all night, family. Peace out.
Be one.
Love you.
Be one. Love, peace, and reparations, everybody.